up in Oregon and Washington State.
Ziska says kudzu is native to Southeast Asia.
It was actually brought over, believe it or not, in 1876 for the Philadelphia Exposition as a showcase for the new wonder plant that could be planted anywhere and control erosion and would make a nice uniform green background.
Scientists with the USDA are always looking to find new methods of controlling the prolific vine or else finding ways to use it productively, such as in the making of biofuels. I'm Cindy Zimmerman, Southeast AgNet.
NASCAR's look at balancing cost versus competition in the Xfinity Series. I'm Kyle Rickey. That story next on NASCAR Today, midday.
Each weekend, we crank the engines at America's tailgate party, NASCAR USA. Hi, I'm Rob Tanner. Join me as we fire up the grill with 2 hours of hot country hits and keep you up to date with the latest in NASCAR racing news, straight from our own Steve Post. We'll whet your appetite with tailgating recipe ideas and test your NASCAR knowledge as well. It's country music at the speed of sound each weekend right here. NASCAR USA on the Motor Racing Network.
Race fans, you know there's nothing like the power, excitement, and sounds of NASCAR. Ever wonder what it would be like to strap yourself in the seat of an authentic NASCAR race car? You can do it at the Richard Petty Driving Experience. Ride along or drive yourself at one of 15 tracks nationwide. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit online at drivepetty.com. Richard Petty Driving Experience. It's authentic NASCAR entertainment. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit drivepetty.com to reserve your experience. NASCAR is continuing to look at ways to better balance cost versus competition in what will be the NASCAR Xfinity Series next season. It's already been announced that testing will be eliminated going forward for all of NASCAR's national series, along with tweaks to the Xfinity cars the last few seasons. Series Director Wayne Otten says that it's a tough balance to find.
We have to be very conscientious of what the cost is, but you also don't want to take away from the competition side. That's what the fans come in the stands for. They want to see the side-by-side. They want to see the accidents. They want to see the beating and banking coming to the checkered flag. But we have to be very conscientious of trying to figure out a way that they can afford it.
For more on the 2015 Xfinity Series, visit MRN.com. I'm Kyle Rickey. This is NASCAR Today Midday on the Motor Racing Network.
We are The Source, WOCA.
We all want to belong. We all want to be heard. We all want to be free. Want to feel safe, kept far from the hurt. We all want to belong. Be a part of a spark. We all want to be free. Want to feel safe, kept far from the dark. All we want is love.
What you're about to hear is the fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
All we want is love.
Buck Sexton here in for Glenn Beck today. Happy Black Friday, as we call it now. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. For any of you who are not familiar with me, I am the Blaze's national security editor. I'm also the host of the Buck Sexton Show every day from 12 to 2 on the Blaze Radio Network, 12 to 2 Eastern. Learn more about me, go to facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Oh, I'm also former CIA of the Iraq office, which might come in handy later because you might be talking a little national security at some point today. So like I said, facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Think of me today as the guy who is sitting in the passenger seat, perhaps next to you, if you're making your way between various Black Friday sales, or if you decided to stay home and just kick it and chill by the fireplace or wherever in the living room. I'll try to keep you company on the day after Thanksgiving, when all of us, I feel like, probably have some coping to do with the meal that occurred the night before. The good thing, I suppose, is that this is radio, because I certainly won't be worth anything in a foot race to help you get that Blu-ray player, which is marked down 70%. I would not be useful in that capacity, to be honest with you. And I feel like, why not be honest? It's just friends here talking. I feel like a land manatee, a landatee, walking around the streets of New York. I'm afraid that the tourists that are here are going to take photos of me, say, "Look, mommy, it's a manatee with legs," and I'll be waving a giant flabby dorsal fin at them or something, because I let it rip yesterday at the Sexton family Thanksgiving table. It has slowed me considerably, and so now I'm a new species of land manatee, which I have just created, called the landatee. I don't know, probably somebody else has heard of such a thing. But it is the one day of the year when you are just, apparently, from a culinary perspective, you're allowed to just let it rip. And I'm somebody who sat through my fair share of what we used to call after-action reports. This is from my old CIA days, and I was thinking I could sort of combine that with, I don't know why, but I just always think of this now in terms of the bad guys from the Star Wars movies with the British accents. So I wanted to give you my version of the Battle of the Sexton Thanksgiving Feast, or the Thanksgiving after-action report. The Battle of the Sexton Thanksgiving Feast was a hard-fought contest. Indeed, good sir, the sweet potatoes fell easily to our forces in the early stages, but the cornbread stuffing put up quite a fight, overwhelming our initial advance with salty goodness and surprise chestnuts. By the time we made it across the Gravy River and assaulted the Turkey Fortress, we had taken considerable losses. We were ambushed by deceptively delicious green beans, which, with sufficient butter and herbs, yes, with an H, slowed our forces' advance. In order to press on, artillery was called in, and our forces, rallied by exceptional gluttony, pushed on until both white and dark meat turkey fell to our charge. Victory, however, came at great cost of indigestion and several lost belt sizes. But the day was ours, old chap. Oh yes, the Battle of the Thanksgiving Feast was won. Cheerio. Now, you see, I have no idea why all of a sudden I thought that it just would sound better if it was like the bad guy from the movie The Patriot was telling you about that all of a sudden, but it just seemed to make sense at the time. So I hope you very much enjoyed your feast. As I understand it, 50 million turkeys nationwide were consumed yesterday. I've had confirmation, by the way, from an earlier radio show. As I said, I'm on the Blaze Radio every day, 12 to 2. And I mentioned on the day before Thanksgiving that the turkey is among the more terrifying animals that you come across that you don't think is terrifying. We're all taught that spiders and snakes and scorpions, for example, scary. It's just sort of a basic. But you see a turkey and people go, "Oh, Thanksgiving." It's like, this is some sort of feral descendant of the velociraptor that's running around your yard. And it wants to peck out your eyes if you get close enough. It has a little sharp spur and it can sort of fly. It looks like some sort of heinous mutation between a vulture and some giant evil peacock. I mean, this is scary stuff. And yet people just think, "Oh, it's a turkey. It's so cute. Gobble, gobble." Yes, it wants to gobble, gobble you. I don't understand why people aren't a little. So I have no sympathy for the various well-basted and prepared turkeys that we must consume each year as part of our annual Thanksgiving feast. And there's also apparently, I've been told, I haven't seen them yet, but you can go on YouTube and you can see movies of the various, when turkeys attack, and they'll chase. Sometimes they're chasing like a van full of screaming, the turkey's coming after us. And I made a joke about how this should be. I'm surprised that there's not a movie, sort of a low budget horror movie about, in fact, and it turns out. And I know many of you now, if you're near a computer, you're going to be going on Netflix or Googling this. I've been told there is, in fact, a Thanksgiving turkey horror film with some kind of a mutant evil turkey that's going around. And as I said, turkeys are all kind of scary. So this changes things. But you also, of course, have the day after sense of perhaps, let's just say consumption. What's the word I'm looking for? consumption regret, perhaps. At least I do today. As I'm walking around, I'm like, oh gosh, I feel considerably slowed by all this. Because yesterday at my actual family, the family feast, it felt like I had a bunch of, or at least in my head, and this gives you a sense, I ate so much that apparently I was having weird visions and voices in my head, that it felt like a bunch of tiny engineers that are running my metabolism. They're running around. And after the first plate at Thanksgiving, I feel like they're all running around inside me screaming, I cannot do it, Captain. I need more belly space. One more spoonful of pudding and the whole ship could go down. And I did not heed their random Scottish exhortations to stop stuffing my face, and I let it absolutely rip. And so now I am paying the consequences. You can't see me, fortunately, because this is radio, but I may be beltless today. I just may be. But you know what? It's the holidays, everybody. It's the holidays. By the way, Black Friday, interestingly enough, a little Black Friday background for you. Considered, or people say it is the busiest shopping day of the year, although some years, as I understand it, that actually falls to the Saturday before Christmas, which makes sense in a lot of ways. It is inherently kind of ominous sounding, right? Because you have other days that have been given that moniker. You have Black Tuesday, October 29th, 1929, biggest stock market crash in history, which then, of course, led pretty much directly into the Great Depression. You have Black Monday on October 19th, 1987. That stock market crash, which also set market spinning, didn't obviously result in a Great Depression, but it was a tough day for the market. And now you have Black Friday, when apparently, forget about the huge stock market crashes, you're supposed to go out there and spend. You know, on the Blaze, where I work, on theblaze.com, they had the derivation up of the term Black Friday. I'm somebody who finds etymology a fascinating area of study. I like to know where things come from. You know, I like to know, well, what do we? Where do you get this this gingham pattern shirt you're wearing? It's actually a Malaysian word. You know, I get all excited about that stuff. If you're wearing a tie comes from the French cravat. Cravat actually comes from Croatian kravati, because they had these mercenaries that would tie a little piece of cloth around their neck to differentiate them. This was, I believe, under the time of Louis XIV, differentiate them from other mercenaries, and it just sort of caught on as the fashion in Paris. Because if it is fashionable in Paris, my friend, it is fashionable everywhere. Remember that as you're going around, you know, buying stuff for the family. But the name, apparently, of a Black Friday, I have no idea how we just ended up in Paris under Louis XIV. But the name Black Friday originated in 1951, as we said on the Blaze.com, and it referred to the workers who would call in sick because, hey, you're trying to hook up a 4-day weekend, bruh. Why not, right? Now, of course, this is something I remember when I worked for the NYPD Intelligence Division. A very considerate sergeant would tell all of us when I was only there for a period of time. I was assigned there from when I was at the CIA. I was on leave. It's a long story, but I was only there for a little while. And they would say, look, if you decide you're going to grab a little extra day during the holidays, don't pull the whole, hey, I just happened to be sick on a Friday and a Monday with Christmas in between it or whatever. He said that they would smell that coming a mile away, and they would, so you had to avoid that sort of thing. But apparently that's where we get Black Friday, is people calling in sick on the Friday after Thanksgiving because they want to hang out for a 4-day weekend. There's also this other, all these competing derivations, which is a dangerous thing because, as anyone with internet access knows, don't believe everything you hear on the internet, quoth Abraham Lincoln. Or quote Thomas Jefferson. I mean, we all know this, right? Because our forefathers told us, don't believe everything you hear on the internet. I mean, if you're looking for a source of spurious and ridiculous quotes, the internet is a very good place to, and especially if you see it in a chain email, may I impress upon you that it is worth going to the initial source. Otherwise, you'll be quoting the founding fathers and their desire for digital freedom and an end to net neutrality. Which you just don't want to rely on that. John Adams, great guy, not a lot on net neutrality to pull from. But apparently part of the derivation of Black Friday is also that police in Philadelphia in the 60s started describing the onslaught of shoppers and various passersby and such who were trying to get their shopping season going. They also had the Army-Navy football game held there, which added a lot more into the mix. And that was why the police apparently started calling it Black Friday. This year, expectations are that sales will increase 3 to 5% to $2.57 billion, to $2.62 billion this Thanksgiving. So, hey, do your part out there for commercialism if you like. It's Black Friday. The call in here, I'm in what I call the Freedom Hut in New York City. We'd love to hear from you wherever you are across the country. You can tell us tales of your Thanksgiving or what you're planning for whatever you got on your mind. We will be talking today about Ferguson. We'll be talking about what President Obama's doing while he thinks you're not paying attention, what he's been up to the past few days. And guess what? It's a lot because the administration's trying to be pretty sneaky on some stuff. Might get into some national security, the Buck Brief, as we like to call it, on terrorism and instability in the Middle East and everywhere else. So we got a lot planned today. 888-727-BECK. This is Buck Sexton of The Blaze. Back in a minute.
Glenn Beck.
The Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
You know that dresser drawer, shoebox where you put all of your important stuff? When you were a kid, the place where you kept the things you valued most. Well, my spot has gone from a drawer in a shoebox to a Liberty safe. I love knowing that I have my own secure, protected spot to keep my most valued possessions. And they're not sometimes your most valuable possessions. It's your marriage license. Sometimes it's your passport. Sometimes it's just those unforgettable pictures of your kids that you will never, ever get back in a fire or a theft or something else. When I was a kid, it was actually a cigar box from my grandfather, and I kept his old rusty pocket knife in it. Now it's guns, photo albums, history, and memorabilia. One of the great things about Liberty Safe, they have safes from $500 up to $7,000. So depending on your budget and what you need to keep safe, they have something that fits your needs. And the best part of Liberty, they make their big safes right here in America, and they come with a lifetime warranty. So check them out. American quality Liberty Safe. You go to libertysafe.com and get free curbside delivery. That's libertysafe.com. 2013 gave us Obamacare, yay, and the IRS targeting and the NSA spying scandals and a slew of other train wrecks coming out of the Obama administration. If you want 2014 to be better, you need to take action. Join me right now and become a member of AMAC, the conservative alternative to AARP. AMAC is better, better for you, better for America. Go to americaisrising.com right now, americaisrising.com, or 888-262-2006. americaisrising.com.
History is the greatest story ever told. Heroes and villains, tragedies and triumphs, dreamers and deceivers. #1 best-selling author Glenn Beck's new book makes history come alive. You don't just read about our past, you live it. From dreamers like Alan Turing, Desi Arnaz, and Walt Disney, to deceivers like Alger Hiss, Charles Ponzi, and liberal hero Upton Sinclair. These are people you only thought you knew. Glenn Beck's Dreamers and Deceivers, true stories of the heroes and villains who made America. On sale now wherever books are sold.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services, when your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements. From damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA, news, talk, sports, and more.
You're listening to the Glenn Beck Program.
This is Buck Sexton in for Glenn Beck today. I'll be with you for the 3 hours of Glenn show and then 2 hours of my show, which is daily on the Blaze Radio Network from 12 to 2 Eastern Time. You can also download previous shows or today's show at facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Please go and like the page if you have not already. It's a place where I put all kinds of fun stuff, including a recent clip of various celebrity impersonations. You know, there was the Benedict Cumberbatch version of the Imitation Game. Now we have the Buck Sexton version of the Imitation Game. But to see it, go to facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Now, I made a couple of, well, I'd like to think they're pithy remarks, although, you know, you may disagree, which is cool. We don't have to agree on everything, about how turkeys are terrifying. And everyone needs to understand that it's just sort of funny that we've been culturally acclimated to thinking that they're, you know, oh, gobble, gobble, the pilgrims, turkeys. And actually, if you stare at their lifeless, beady eyes long enough, you realize that they are the descendants of velociraptors, and they are ready to come after you. It turns out there is, somebody tweeted at me, somebody tweeted at me Poultrygeist as the title, which I like, which was clever, but also there apparently is a movie called Thanksgilling, about a crazy monster turkey. So somebody beat me to it. I did not know that existed before I came on air. Speaking about terrifying Thanksgiving things, the Department of Health and Human Services, yeah, that's right. How much did you miss them over the past few days? HHS, now run by Burwell, previously run by Sebelius, and they're setting up shop right now in malls. Well, they're setting up shop in shops, I suppose you could say, because they're setting up across the country as part of a campaign to convince people that they should all sign up for Obamacare at this point. So while you're maneuvering, assuming you're maneuvering, I know some of you are working today like me, and others might just be hanging out on the couch or in the den, in the man cave perhaps if you have one, or in the ladies' lounge if that's what you like to call your living room, whatever. That HHS is trying to grab the rest of us who are out and about is, I think pretty annoying, but pretty indicative of a very irritating phenomenon. You see, only the government can force you to buy a product that you don't want. I mean, literally force you to do it, right? Imagine if you were in the mall and they're like, "Hey, sir, come here. The federal government insists that you purchase this packet of ShamWows." And you're like, "Whoa, hold on a second, buddy. No, you don't understand. These ShamWows are great. They absorb very well, and we'll give you 5 for the price of 3. And it's just like, well, but I don't want your ShamWow. Well, you see, we passed a law, and you're gonna have to. We'll give them to you in various colors, but this is what you're buying. Seems crazy until you realize the government actually could do that now under their interpretation of Obamacare. You could be buying shake weights, ShamWows, and that electrode thing that zaps your stomach to give you a 6-pack. You could be forced to buy all that stuff under the current interpretation of federal law, which is, well, that's just a post-Thanksgiving, eliminate those extra pounds tax or whatever. They could decide to just start zapping us all in the stomach or making us carry shake weights around with us. It's so stupid until you realize that it's actually possible. But HHS can come up to you, they can force you to buy a product you don't want. They can spend your tax dollars now to convince you, or to have people convince you to buy the product that you have to buy anyway. But they're supposed to convince you that it's good, so apparently you're a little less upset about the fact that you have no choice but to buy it. You don't have a choice anyway. This is how the government works, though. This is their version of a public relations campaign. So just get excited out there. I hope they have, in classic sort of Soviet style, they've set up like loudspeakers, or just, while you're shopping on Good Friday, they got Obama telling you what I've got an idea for you. You should go out there and you should buy yourself a healthcare plan. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't want your stinking healthcare plan because the government runs it. But guess what? You have no choice. So I'm going to tell you this one time. You're going to come over here right now. You can go do your shopping at Elizabeth Arden and J. Crew later. Because right now this is about making sure that you get really expensive, government-mandated, government-controlled healthcare. Happy Friday, everybody. 888-727-BECK is the call-in. This is Buck Sexton. Facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Check it out. Like it. On Twitter, @Buck Sexton. I like the social media stuff, as you can see. And I'm going to be with you for many hours today. So riding shotgun with you. Back in a minute.
The Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Black Friday started Thursday for a lot of shoppers, with many stores open yesterday as bargain hunters shop for the holidays or themselves, like this New Yorker.
Looking for a coat to be prepared this winter in case it's another cold one.
The stores have been a little easier to navigate today, mainly because many opened on Thanksgiving Day. Macy's Herald Square saw what may be a store record, 15,000 shoppers last night.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Austin police say a suspected gunman is dead after firing more than 100 rounds at several buildings, including police headquarters.
One of our officers that was out in front of the building saw the suspect, fired at the suspect went down.
Assistant Chief Raul Munguia says it's still not clear if the suspect was killed by the officer or if he took his own life. A man was taken to a Phoenix hospital with possible Ebola symptoms. He recently returned from Sierra Leone. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Honey, I had a premonition about Black Friday.
Let me guess, long lines and tons of people.
Nope, I saw great deals at Staples.
Were you on Staples.com when you had this vision?
I don't recall, but it was clear as day. Blowout prices on laptops and headphones. You got me a tablet.
Did I?
Yeah, we were in, out, and home in time to have breakfast in bed.
You saw all that.
You made omelets.
Omelets.
Have a stress-free Black Friday at Staples. Go to Staples.com for deals and coupons good on the hottest tech gifts all week long. Less stress, more savings. Staples.
I can't wait to give you your gift.
Me too. And I don't want to brag, but it's perfect. Like 4 million pixels perfect.
You got me a Samsung Galaxy Tab S? I thought we had a price limit.
It was on sale. I'm sure your gift is great too. It's not like you got me a candle or something.
Me? Nah.
Get $100 off the 10.5-inch Samsung Galaxy Tab S at your local Walmart today. Connected tablets not included. Offer valid November 23rd through December 1st. Other restrictions may apply. See participating stores for details while supplies last.
Yes, George.
I did it again.
What now, George?
I have a secret code just like a spy, so I know where the climate control units are.
George, you're no spy. You have the secret, you have the code to Devon Self-Storage Climate Control Area, where you back the truck all the way in, and if you have any questions, you just call Devon Self-Storage at 873-0777.
Yeah, but I know where Devon Self-Storage is.
Yes, across from Hobby Lobby on Highway 200.
Gee, Alice, are you a spy too?
Yes, George, yes.
On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Honey.
In here.
Are you tearing up the bathroom? I thought we agreed to let Mike Scott Plumbing handle this on Monday.
Yeah, I know, but I got this. I watched a how-to video on YouTube.
Oh, well. So instead of calling the professionals at Mike Scott Plumbing, who, by the way, do this for a living, and wait, is that a jackhammer?
Yep, watch this. Let the master show you how it's done. Okay, we may have an ever so slight leaking problem.
Great job, Mr. Genius. Now you broke the water line.
No. That was like that when I got here.
Well, looks like the only thing you've mastered is the art of making a mess. So now I'm picking up the phone and calling Mike Scott Plumbing, who won't charge us extra for nights, weekends, or holidays.
No, wait. I can fix this. Just hand
the
me
only
that.
thing I'm handing you is the phone. No, wait. I'll handle this. 237-2888.
On next week's episode of What Not to Do.
The fire department.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Hey, it's Christy with Ocala Mac and PC Repair and Ocala Guest Wi-Fi to let you know we have you covered. We are the only local certified Apple and Microsoft computer company in Ocala. We are family owned and operated. From mobile repair to wireless networks, viruses, new systems, or security cameras, we do it all. Check us out online, ocalamacpc.com, or give us a call, 352-566-8324.
Tell them Nick, Madison, or Mason sent you and get free diagnostic.
Get your internet telephone service from the company that brought affordable internet service to Ocala in the first place. All Is Safe is a sister company of Ocala Guest Wi-Fi, a company you've known and trusted for all your internet needs. Whether you need a phone or hundreds, we've got the products and services to meet your needs both now and in the future. Our plans include everything from local and long-distance calling to equipment maintenance and even software upgrades. You can count on All Is Safe to give you cost certainty knowing that your bill will be the same next week, next month, or even next year. Call 352-450-8647 today to learn how to cut your monthly telephone bill up to 60%.
Of cracking the enigma with almost a sextillion combinations. Even if they tested possible combinations every second of every day for 28 trillion years, they'd still have 55 billion combinations to try. He looked around the table and saw stunned expressions on his colleagues' faces. He had one question for Alistair Denniston. When do I start?
From page 183 of Dreamers and Deceivers, True Stories of the Heroes and Villains That Made America by Glenn Beck. On sale now. Visit glennbeck.com for details.
Dreamers and Deceivers. I, last night, in my tryptophan and turkey-induced food coma, actually read big sections of Dreamers and Deceivers. I should be through the whole thing, I would think, by the end of the weekend. But I went to the chapter on Alan Turing. One of the great things about the book, by the way, is that you can look at the table of contents, look at the different individuals, either the dreamers or the deceivers, and just sort of pick, are you in the mood? Are you in a more of a Ponzi mood or more of a Turing mood? And you can bounce around. You don't have to read it chronologically. You can pick the different stories. And each story stands alone, but it ties into the broader theme about whether you are, in fact, or whether the individuals, I should say, are, in fact, a dreamer or a deceiver. The Turing story, I think, is particularly fascinating. Here you have this individual, and just as by way of background, I'm a former CIA analyst. And in that role, of course, had a lot of contact with the NSA, the National Security Agency, and its work, which is the modern incarnation of exactly what was happening at Bletchley Park. It was the NSA is our code-breaking and signals intelligence, SIGINT, agency, as you know, and it's vast and very, very powerful. In fact, so powerful that it has started some pretty fierce discussions about civil liberties and privacy here at home and around the world. But so by trade, I'm an intelligence analyst, and I used to look at this sort of information, of course, and its various classified iterations. And so reading about the story of Alan Turing was particularly fascinating to me. Of course, all of us, anyone who watches the History Channel, I guess, has to be a World War II buff, because that's kind of or at least that's what used to be on all the time. It's what's on very late. And we know about the wolf pack, the U-boats that would stay off of the coast, either the U.S. or all around the shipping lanes, the sea lanes, and would sink all sorts of vessels, hundreds of vessels. That's covered. You get a bit of the background of it in the story, that this was destroying the arteries necessary to get men, material, supplies, everything into Great Britain or into different parts of the war effort. If you couldn't transfer things by sea, remember, it's much easier to move large quantities of basically everything by the ocean than it is to move it over land, particularly at the period of the Second World War. And this was an existential issue, really. This was an issue of whether or not Britain could fight back against the Blitz. And during the darkest days of that, there was a tremendous amount of pressure on one individual, Alan Turing, who is one of the chapters in Dreamers and Deceivers, to come up with a way to defeat the Nazi Enigma machine. The Enigma machine was a tool of a cipher tool, essentially. It was a means of encoding communications. And as you heard right before, as I came in there with a selection from the book itself, it was unbelievably advanced for the time. They thought that it was literally unbreakable, that there was no way that anyone could find out how to get around this. But breaking the Nazi communications, not just to deal with the U-boat threat, but with all of the Nazi military efforts, was a critical piece of winning the war and winning it more quickly than would have otherwise been the case. As is also known, we had later on cracked the Japanese codes as well, which was essential for war in the Pacific theater. If you can read the other guy's mail, so to speak, you have a huge advantage. And in the world of espionage, the understanding is that if you can break the other guy's comms, his communications, you're in a much better place than you would otherwise be. So you have Dreamers and Deceivers carrying a chapter on this, and the timing of it is magnificent because you can go out today and you can buy the book. You can also go see the movie, a movie based on the same subject, Alan Turing, the lead role being played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Let's just play a little bit of the trailer. This movie is out in theaters across the country today.
This war, we're not winning it. If you speak a word of what I'm about to show you, you will be executed for high treason.
It's beautiful. It's the greatest encryption device in history, and the Germans use it for all communications.
Everyone thinks Enigma is unbreakable.
Let me try, and we'll know for sure.
Mr. Turing, do you know how many died because of it?
I don't.
3, while we've been having this conversation.
Gentlemen, meet Mr. Turing. We to work together then. I'm afraid these men would only slow me down.
Popular at school, were you?
We're short on staff. We get more staff then. You have 6 minutes to complete the task.
Is anything impossible?
No, it takes me 8. 5 minutes and 34 seconds.
Well, there you have it. That is a part of the trailer, which comes out now nationwide today. So, as I said, Dreamers and Deceivers, many chapters on different individuals, but also Alan Turing, one of the best ones. I just read the chapter last night, and the movie comes out today. And now I have a special guest joining us. We have Teddy Schwartzman. He is the founder of Black Bear Pictures and the producer of the movie The Imitation Game, which is about Alan Turing and comes out today. Ted, thank you for calling in.
I'm honored to be here.
So tell us a little bit about the film. I mean, I know you guys are hitting nationwide release. Tell us a little bit how it came together and what sort of some of the backstory is.
Sure. Well, I think first and foremost, it's important to get, some context on who Alan Turing was. When the president spoke in front of both houses of Parliament in 2011, he highlighted, 6 of the most influential scientists and innovators, and they were Newton, Darwin, Edison, Einstein, Steve Jobs, and Alan Turing. Sergey Brin, Larry Page, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, so many other tech innovators have credited Turing as paving the way for all their technological developments. And yet, really so few of us actually know who Alan Turing was and what he accomplished. And, it's our hope with The Imitation Game that all of that will change and that we can hopefully get Turing the recognition that he deserves.
So he's considered by many to be the father of really modern computing as well as this crypto-analytic genius, right? So there's the sort of espionage, helping win the war effort side of this character of Turing, but then there's also that he paved the way for really the whole modern digital era in which we now live.
Absolutely. He's really known for 2 things primarily, even though he accomplished so much more. The first was cracking the German Enigma code in World War II. The Nazis sent all their high-level and low-level messages over radio waves, and to keep the Allies from understanding, they encrypted it with an Enigma machine that had, I believe it was 159 million possible settings, and it was Turing and his team in Hut 8 at a secret base called Bletchley Park in the UK who came up with their own machine that helped crack that Enigma. And because of that, historians estimate that, they shortened the war between 2 and 4 years, saving up to 14 million lives. And Churchill is on record as calling Turing, as the individual who made the single biggest contribution to Allied victory against the Nazis. And then secondarily, as you point out, Turing really is known as the founder of modern computing and computer science. He was the first person to really think up the concept of a computer. Then it was called the Turing machine, and anticipate what we could use it for, how it could function, and his work became the basis for, our tech society. So if you have a laptop, an iPhone, if you've sent an email in the last 24 hours, it really wouldn't have been possible, without Alan Turing.
And he's something of it's fair to say that he's a tragic hero. He's sort of a hero in the ancient Greek tragedy sense of it, in that he made this massive contribution, but died under really very sad circumstances. He committed suicide, correct? Because he was prosecuted by the state for homosexual acts.
That's exactly right. It's one of these terrible stories where you have such an unsung hero, both from a technological standpoint, from a war standpoint, and yet they succumb to such a tragic ending. After World War II, there was a break-in at Turing's house that led to a police investigation, and instead of investigating the burglar, they found out that Turing was gay and decided instead to investigate him. And he was prosecuted, convicted, and subjected to 12 months of estrogen injections, after which, he took his own life. And he did so before anybody understood the contributions he had made during the war, all of which he kept secret to his grave due to the Official Secrets Act then in place in the UK. And it wasn't until, the mid-1970s that people started to understand what this man had done. And thankfully, over the last 35 years, there's been a slow but steady public, groundswell of support towards, getting this incredible man his due. And, it's really a pleasure, from all the filmmakers involved with The Imitation Game to be able to bring this film to a larger audience and let Turing's story be heard.
Now, your Black Bear Pictures is producing this. Tell us a little bit just about, where you filmed and how it all came together. I know you've got Benedict Cumberbatch in the lead, who's sort of white hot right now in terms of his career and attention, everything else. Tell us a little bit about just the filming of, and it's nationwide today, correct?
Well, no, we're starting out on a limited basis.
Oh, limited basis, okay.
So we're starting out in New York and L.A., but we will be nationwide in December.
Okay.
Fingers crossed, assuming people in New York and L.A. continue to see the movie. Today's the opening day, but everybody is bullish. We'll see what happens. But, the film was shot in the UK. We had 3 American producers, a Norwegian director, a Spanish cinematographer, really, and an incredible British cast that was all sort of a hodgepodge that came together to shoot an independent film that everybody really believed in and wanted to tell for all the right reasons. So we shot it last year, September through November, in and around London. We were lucky enough to have an amazing cast. As you mentioned, Benedict Cumberbatch is our lead. Keira Knightley is the female lead. A tremendous ensemble in Mark Strong, Matthew Good, Charles Dance, Alan Leach from Downton Abbey, and I think we've made something that is both, an important film and a really entertaining film. I think, you can hear the subject matter and think gravitas, which hopefully we have, but it's also an entertaining, enjoyable, humorous film because Turing's life really was so multifaceted and he had, so much going on that, we tried to do it justice.
All right. Black Bear Pictures Imitation Game. I'm speaking to Teddy Schwartzman, the founder of Black Bear, and it opens in New York and LA today, and hopefully in December will be nationwide, so check it out. The trailer is available online. Teddy, great to talk to you. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you very much.
So, guys, you can check out Dreamers and Deceivers, and if you're in the New York or LA area, you can go watch The Imitation Game, and you can read about it and then go see the movie. I recommend you do so. 888-727-BECK is our call-in here. Going to be talking a bit about the latest on Ferguson in the second hour. We're going to attack the bad arguments and then look at some good arguments. We're going to try to take a more constructive and positive approach after we shatter to smithereens the lies, obfuscations, and hateful things that are out there. We will do our best to repair it or talk about how it could be repaired. Facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Back in a minute.
Glenn Beck.
Stimulate all your senses.
The Blaze.
.com/TV.
The Blaze Radio Network.
Go to literally any alarm company site, and you'll see them everywhere. Asterisks. Free security systems. Asterisks. Sounds great. Then you see that asterisk there, and you're like, wait a minute, what? Well, you got to sign a contract. No, you're only locked in for 3 years. Sky-high monthly bills. Surprise, fees, no way out. This is why I trust Simply Safe over everybody else. There's no asterisks, no contracts, no sneaky gotcha. This is a first-rate home security system. We've checked them out. We have it in our home. You should do the same. Completely wireless, top-of-the-line technology. Tech experts rave about this stuff, and with Simply Safe, you get professional monitoring for $15 a month. That's $15. It's unbeatable and so remarkably effective that actual police forces use this to catch criminals. And there's no annual contracts. Protect your home. No better choice than Simply Safe. Go to simplysafebeck.com right now. You'll save 10%. Go now, simplysafebeck.com.
Shave Secret, for the best shave ever. Shave Secret is a blend of natural oils that replaces shave creams, gels, and powders for men and women of all ethnic backgrounds. Shave Secret is an all-natural product, nothing artificial. Shave Secret helps prevent nicks, cuts, shave bumps, ingrown hairs, rashes, and more. Shave Secret is clear, non-foaming, so you can see clearly what you're shaving. Shave Secret is economical to use. Take 3 to 5 drops for the average shave. Shave Secret cleans, conditions, and moisturizes the skin all in one application. Shave Secret is compact and great for travel. Ladies, Shave Secret is wonderful for shaving your legs, underarms, and bikini lines. Guys, got a bald head? Shave it. Take the Shave Secret Challenge and try it for 7 days. If you don't like it, we'll refund your money 100%. Buy Shave Secret today at Walmart Supercenters and online at shavesecret.com. Buy Shave Secret online today and receive a free copy of the Constitution of the United States. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
It's the end of the fiscal year, and that means budget cuts and number crunching. Now's the time of the year you're evaluating your expenses, planning your budget, and finding ways to save money and increase efficiency to maximize profits. Dex Imaging understands and delivers. Call Dex Imaging today for a free document management evaluation. Cutting your office expenses is as easy as calling Dex Imaging. 352-266-0333. Start saving money today and increase your bottom line with Dex Imaging. Printers, copiers, and fax machines that increase office productivity and save you money. No one understands your bottom line better. Call Dex Imaging today, 352-266-0333, or check them out on the web at deximaging.com. That's DEXimaging.com. Or call 352-266-0333 for your free document management evaluation today.
Experience Christmas at Gaylord Palms, November 15th through January 4th with Ice, featuring the Nutcracker. Relive your favorite scenes from the classic ballet, hand-carved in more than 2 million pounds of ice sculptures and slides. Enjoy a special bonus area, the Frostbite Factory, and watch artisans from Harbin, China carve amazing ice sculptures before your eyes. Your awe-inspiring experience concludes with the wonder of the Nativity in Ice. For tickets and packages, visit christmas@gaylordpalms.com.
Looking for a breath of fresh air in assisted living? Camelot Chateau provides compassionate resident care, 3 excellent chef-prepared meals a day, and an engaging activities program ensuring a more fulfilling life. With Camelot's reasonable rates, you can afford to give yourself a break from cooking, housekeeping, and laundry, and have a breath of fresh air. Camelot Chateau is close to shopping, restaurants, and that all-important health care. Call 629-6077 to schedule a visit. Proud supporter of the Alzheimer's Association. We all know the importance of good health, but we may not know the latest advances in medicine that are available to us. Monday at 9 a.m., Bern Paraiso will be our roving medical reporter to tell us about Seven Hill Gastroenterology PA and Dr. Reddy. We'll discuss screening, techniques, and more. So tune in and listen. This is more than news you can use. It's news that could save your life. That's Monday at 9:05 a.m.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
1370 WOCA.
WOCA.
Glenn Beck.
I didn't want to prejudge, okay? I didn't want to come out and start making all kinds of jokes about the craziness that was going to ensue with the Black Friday sales. This is Buck Sexton, by the way, in for Glenn Beck. Go to facebook.com/Buck Sexton for more of my musings, videos, and thoughts. I'm every day 12 to 2 on the Blaze Radio Network. You can listen to me there. Black Friday sales have already created various brawls. I can't imagine some of this stuff, how this actually happens. Until this morning, even, for example, I saw, I had to go past, I think it was a Best Buy, and the line, even last night, was stretching around city blocks. Absolutely enormous. For people that do the doorbusters at midnight or whatever. And, doorbusters, everybody, to those who are going crazy over this stuff, doorbusters is supposed to be just sort of a term of art. They don't actually want you to bust the door, as I know all of you know. But people take that literally, which is not good. And so now we have, for example, a few people getting into a fight with an off-duty police officer in Los Angeles at one of these Black Friday sales, punching the police officer numerous times in the face, which police officers do not take well to that. So these two people are now in jail. And two people were also, and they were duking it out over a Barbie doll. Let that sort of sink in for a second. So we have adults punching each other in the face over a Barbie doll. Now, just imagine for a second, you're the guy who gets taken downtown for that one. Hey, man, what are you in for? It's a Barbie doll. It was like 30% off. And some other guy got his grubby paws on my Barbie doll, which I was going to get for a member of my family. And, he thought he was going to get the deal. And I figured, excuse me, sir, I am an informed consumer, and this is my Barbie doll. And at 30% off, it is a fantastic buy. And you can either remove your hands from this, or I will show you the pugilism for which I was known in my college boxing days, which did not actually technically happen, but it sounds good before you get into a fight with someone. Just imagine you're locked up for the Barbie doll that you were trying to buy. You literally were punching somebody. But there's going to be more of this too, and it's just every year. And I was hoping maybe, I know it's naive to think this, maybe this year people would, I don't know, treat this as a holiday time for families. All right. Ferguson coming up, hour 2. Back in a minute.
The Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
It's easy for us to be entertained these days. We've got apps, we have TV shows, we have movies on our phones, on our tablets. It's endless. But it's also disconnecting us. What happened to just entertaining ourselves? What happened to all the things that we used to do before smartphones and TVs and movies? What happened to all those things we used to do around the dinner table? In fact, I believe the dinner table could be considered the original entertainment center. We'd sit, we'd talk, and more than anything else, we'd laugh. I'm going to challenge you to spend some more time at the table. There's a game that is perfect for getting people talking and laughing, and it's called Say Anything. It's the game my kids actually ask to play. You ask a few questions, and the next thing you know, everybody's talking and laughing. It's a fun game your family's going to love. Get it for your family or give it as a Christmas gift. And by the way, it's on sale this week at Target for $19. Give Say Anything this Christmas and go to Target before it sells out. Remember, it's on sale. Say Anything. Available at Target.
NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
American Financing is an established direct mortgage banker offering competitive interest rates and superior customer service. American Financing is a responsible lender ensuring customers do not get into more home than they can afford. Whether your home loan is a refinance or new purchase, their salary-based mortgage consultants will customize a loan program to meet your financial needs. With in-house underwriting, no upfront fees, and free pre-qualification, they will make the loan process simple and straightforward. The pre-qualification process takes only 10 minutes, and you may be able to close your loan in as fast as 10 days. They offer every loan in the industry, whether it be FHA, VA, Streamline, HARP, ARMS, Jumbo, USDA, or conventional. Let American Financing show you why they have become the mortgage company of choice. Call today and get pre-qualified in only 10 minutes. AmericanFinancing.net or 866-877-2322. That's 866-877-2322.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. As many people start their holiday shopping, some in Ferguson, Missouri are staging peaceful Black Friday protests after the recent decision not to indict a white police officer for killing an unarmed black teen.
They take a loop around the store chanting, "Hands up, don't shoot," and then they move on to other businesses. They are planning to continue those protests as well as others not related to boycotting Black Friday. Tomorrow, a march is also planned by the NAACP from here in Ferguson to the state's capital.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. Thousands in New England still without power after a big snowstorm. For many, that meant not having the usual Thanksgiving dinner like this New Hampshire woman.
We had our turkey in the oven for about an hour, and the power went out. It was a little panicky at first.
Many could be without power till Sunday. Crude oil prices continue to fall to the lowest point in 5 years. While good for drivers, experts say it's also a sign of weakness in the global economy. Fox News. We report, you decide.
It's Secret Santa time, and you drew Carl. He loves kitten videos, talking about kittens, and drives a tiny car that looks like one. Carl needs to man up, so get him a quality 7-piece Evercraft combination wrench set at Napa for only $9.99. $9.99 for wrenches to take those ridiculous kitten ears off his car. Hopefully. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 12/31/14.
Honey, I had a premonition about Black Friday.
Let me guess. Long lines and tons of people.
Nope. I saw great deals at Staples.
Were you on Staples.com when you had this vision?
I don't recall, but it was clear as day. Blowout prices on laptops and headphones. You got me a tablet.
Did I?
Yeah, we were in, out, and home in time to have breakfast in bed.
You saw all that.
You made omelets.
Omelets.
Have a stress-free Black Friday at Staples. Go to Staples.com for deals and coupons good on the hottest tech gifts all week long. Less stress, more savings. Staples.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services, when your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements. From damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out. New shows? Check. We are some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire. Because that's how exotic it is. We are
We all want to belong. We all want to be heard. We all want to be free. Want to feel safe, kept far from the hurt. We all want to belong. Be a part of a spark. We all want to be free. Want to feel safe, kept far from the dark. All we want is love.
What you're about to hear is the fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
All we want is love.
This is Buck Sexton in for Glenn Beck today on Black Friday. I am the national security editor for theblaze.com, the host of the Buck Sexton Show on the Blaze Radio Network every day, 12 to 2. Just go to theblaze.com/radio. I'll be on today, actually, at 12 after the Glenn Beck program. And also starting in 2015, the Buck Sexton Show on the Blaze TV, which is going to be a whole lot of fun. So TV and radio every day in 2015. Go to facebook.com/Buck Sexton for more info. Like the page, please. So we're transitioning now, and it's not much of a transition because we have two topics that are actually already intertwined. Right? We spoke a little bit about Black Friday, going to do some shopping. Maybe you pick up a copy of Dreamers and Deceivers. I don't know. Maybe you go to Home Depot. I don't know if you have enough time. But definitely pick up a copy of Dreamers and Deceivers if you can. Read about Alan Turing. Read about Alger Hiss. And as a companion to that, if you want, you could also pick up a copy of Whittaker Chambers' Witness, one of the most important memoirs, I think, of the 20th century for any conservative to read. It is a monumental work. It is an amazing book. It's pretty long, but well worth the time to go through Whittaker Chambers' Witness. And because Alger Hiss is the antagonist, really, in that book. Although the real antagonist is actually the American progressive left and sort of elite and intelligentsia who rally around Hiss, a State Department spy for the Soviets. And this is now all confirmed. I mean, this is just, there's no debate over this anymore. He was convicted of perjury on this very issue. But there are still many who will throw about the term Red Scare and McCarthyism without actually ever understanding that there were very real Soviet penetrations of the United States government. They were engaged in efforts to use the American Communist Party to subvert democracy, to subvert our republic here at home. It was a very real and very serious threat, and the penetrations went to the highest levels of government, as well as having a sort of broader impact on what's going on with the workers' movement in this country day in and day out. So check out those books. I mentioned the two topics that come together, though, and speaking of the American left, you have Black Friday and Ferguson. Now, Ferguson, as you know, of course, has been dominating the news cycle ever since the decision of the grand jury not to indict came down. I don't want to go over ground that's already been plowed here, but there is also the Black Friday Ferguson protests that are being, actually, I believe, are underway right now, although it's still early in many places in the country, and perhaps they're waiting for there to be more of a critical mass of shoppers. I have, just as I used to follow the Occupy Wall Street movement very closely, I've now begun to track as closely as I can on the digital side using social media and the rest, because that's actually how these activists communicate with each other. But the Ferguson National Response Network, for example, is pushing for boycott Black Friday protests and demonstrations in solidarity with Ferguson. I don't even know how they think that how that's supposed to connect, but we'll get into the lack of actual rational connections and how that's a very important part of this movement, if you can call it that. But they want protests in Chicago, in Boston, in Santa Barbara, in Appleton, in Wichita. Name a state, name a major U.S. city. They're trying to coordinate protest movements in it, wherever you are right now. Whether you're on the coast, in the middle of the country, Midwest, the South, they're trying to get together some sort of disruptive protest in your state to force people to hear their message on Black Friday. And this may, of course, result in some arrests. There could be some property damage. It really depends on how all of this goes. But yes, hashtag boycott Black Friday. This is part of the Ferguson response at this point in time. And so there are these efforts to try to set up some kind of national protest movement. And we've already seen that there are some reasons to be concerned about this beyond even what you've already seen in terms of destruction and violence on the streets. You have a couple of individuals who were arrested and accused by the FBI of wanting to blow up the St. Louis Arch because they think that would somehow send a message about Ferguson to destroy a landmark. They also are accused of wanting to assassinate a prosecutor and chief of police in Ferguson. These are the latest charges against two individuals, as reported by the St. Louis Post Dispatch. So that's obviously very concerning. And what we can expect on this Black Friday, I think, is more of the sorts of aggressive disruptions. And then, of course, the scrambling and sort of quivering media coverage. Oh, it's mostly peaceful. It's mostly peaceful. This is, think, what other movement in this country gets that sort of leeway, that you could have buildings burning down in the background of shots with reporters saying, well, it's mostly a peaceful situation here. They're burning down a few buildings and there's some rioting and rocks being thrown at police, but there's mostly peaceful. You heard about incidents with the Tea Party that didn't even exist, didn't even happen back in the day. So just think of the way the media covered that versus the way they're covering this. There was an incident with a Tea Party guy who showed up with a rifle, and then buried in paragraph 7 it would be, well, it was completely legal, it was open carry, and nothing happened. But they would find ways to try to make this seem like it was just on the precipice of being violent, even when they would have union thugs who would punch people from the Tea Party in the face, or I believe in one case bite them on the hand. They would make it seem like there was some sort of it was both sides involved in some kind of a scrum, a scuffle. Well, no, that's actually not what happened. But bending over backwards for this Ferguson movement, whether it's called the Justice for Mike Brown movement or the Ferguson movement, or no one's even really clear on what the movement should be called, because no one's even clear on what the movement's trying to accomplish. All we know is that there's a lot of anger, and there are many people in the background who are fanning the flames of this and trying to sort of posture, and a lot of preening going on. I'm with the good guys, and we want change, and we want things to be different. And then you say, well, what do you want to be different exactly? What policy should be changed here? And you hear things, the level of stupidity is just boundless here. We should get rid of a grand jury. Really, because that's meant to protect citizens actually from the overreach of the state. And this goes back to the founders and really English common law as well. But okay, fine. We're going to have people say things like that just because they're outraged about this particular situation. It didn't get very much media coverage, but yesterday you had the NYPD, at one point my former employer, here in the city of New York, arresting protesters who were trying to stop the Thanksgiving Day parade or draw attention to themselves by threatening to stop the Thanksgiving Day parade. This is a real level of lunacy that it's sort of hard to overstate, right? These people are actually going to now interrupt the thing. We can't have a parade on Thanksgiving without disruptions and the implied threat of disorder and violence. Until what? This is becoming almost like a terrorist group that doesn't have a list of demands, but really wants your attention. Well, what do you want? You want to have a conversation? Okay, well, conversation is two ways. It sounds more like you want to lecture, and you're not even clear on what the lecture's about. And the moment you're challenged on it, you become very angry. I don't really know what they expect us to make of all of this. You have the NYPD trying to prevent the disruption of a parade that lots of people, I'm personally not a parade guy, not something that really gets me particularly fired up one way or the other. I'm just, it's not my bag. I don't know what else to say. But some people love them, and it's a tradition to be sure. And certainly people should be able to bring their family to a parade like that and not be worried that there'll be some sort of incident with police because of instigators who want to make sure that they literally grab our attention. We have no choice but to sit there and hear out their sort of amorphous but self-righteous grievances. Fortunately, they weren't able to do very much yesterday in terms of stopping the parade from continuing on, but make no mistake about it, there's plenty left to come, I think, and we will see more of this today. If the Ferguson National Response Network has its way, there will be disruptive protests, there will be arrests, and there will be people who no doubt are engaged in one way or another, based upon what we've seen in the past, where you have Ferguson protesters showing up at baseball games or showing up at other public places and yelling at people and screaming at people in front of their children. It's not even clear. Boycott Black Friday, which is the hashtag that they're using on Twitter and elsewhere to try to build some sort of digital momentum for this. What's that supposed to accomplish? Not content to merely burn out businesses in their own neighborhood in Ferguson, these activists and protesters now want to hurt businesses across the country. Because that's going to do what exactly? Send a message to whom? But you see, this is a perfect example of what this is really all about. It's just being taken as an excuse for the expression of rage, of anger, of resentment. There's no actual policy change being requested because there's no actual policy change under consideration. There can be no shift in the laws, really. And we'll get into maybe the complaints about the grand jury as it went down in Ferguson. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But they certainly don't want the law to be changed. You can't actually have a situation where police officers aren't allowed to defend themselves with deadly force, right? That can't be changed. And what happened here was a situation that, based upon the facts, required a response of force. In this case, deadly force. So what's with all the protests? What's with the harassing of people trying to go shopping? People with their families trying to enjoy a day off if they're lucky enough to have one. Some of us, as you know, don't. What's the purpose of all this? Well, you see, in many ways, this does mirror the Occupy Wall Street movement, but it adds on top of that a more divisive and dangerous layer of racial tension as the center of it. Occupy Wall Street was about class differentiation. This Ferguson movement is much more polarized along racial, ethnic lines, which is very dangerous stuff for these agitators and community organizers to be playing with. And they know it. This is particularly combustible. And so that's what the shift has been. It was the Wall Street fat cats, and now it's the system. And by the system, they mean racial inequality. And by racial inequality, they mean, well, they're telling us day in and day out. Black Friday protests across the country is what they've promised us. It's still early. We'll see if it actually happens. But any group that's willing to try to disrupt the Thanksgiving Day parade here in New York City, where people show up with their families to look at the balloons and hear the music, any group that would do that has no respect for our right, as I would call it, to enjoy ourselves on our holidays with our families in just some level of peace, without the agitators deciding that they're going to ruin our day. 888-727-BECK is our call-in. Got a lot more to talk about with this Ferguson stuff, but I promise you we will go to how to fix this, how to make this better, not just why this is getting worse with each passing day. Back in a minute.
The Glenn Beck Program.
Again broadcasting from
The Blaze Radio Network.
You know that dresser drawer, shoebox where you put all of your important stuff? When you were a kid, the place where you kept the things you valued most. Well, my spot has gone from a drawer and a shoebox to a Liberty safe. I love knowing that I have my own secure, protected spot to keep my most valued possessions. And they're not sometimes your most valuable possessions. It's your marriage license. Sometimes it's your passport. Sometimes it's just those unforgettable pictures of your kids that you will never, ever get back in a fire or a theft or something else. When I was a kid, it was actually a cigar box from my grandfather, and I kept his old rusty pocket knife in it. Now it's guns, photo albums, history, and memorabilia. One of the great things about Liberty Safe, they have safes from $500 up to $7,000. So depending on your budget and what you need to keep safe, they have something that fits your needs. And the best part of Liberty, they make their big safes right here in America, and they come with a lifetime warranty. So check them out. American quality Liberty Safe. You go to libertysafe.com and get free curbside delivery. That's libertysafe.com.
What does it take to be proficient with a firearm? Training, practice, and lots of ammunition. Shooting is skill and requires practice to be a good shot, and you need to maintain that level with regular training. Cheaper Than Dirt has plenty of training ammunition available that will allow you to shoot without breaking the bank. Save your expensive self-defense ammo for when you really need it, and buy your practice ammo from cheaperthandirt.com. That's cheaperthandirt.com.
Big Green Fever savings are back at John Deere. Save on all tractors from the 1 family to the Big 6 series with 0% financing for 60 months or big cash discounts. Plus, get $1,500 off a 1 family tractor with the purchase of 2 implements. Offer ends February 2nd, 2015, subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Ag Pro Companies is your local John Deere dealer. For details on all 22 of our locations, visit agprocompanies.com or visit myjohndeeredealer.com.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment. 352-615-5566.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
WOCA.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
This is Buck Sexton in for Glenn Beck. You can listen to me every day 12 to 2 on the Blaze Radio Network, or just go to facebook.com/Buck Sexton. I post podcasts there, pieces of writing I do for the Blaze, fun photos, impressions videos, all kinds of good stuff. 888-727-BECK is our call-in. Let's take some. We have, let me see here, Howard in Ohio. Howard, you're on the Buck Sexton Show.
Good morning, Buck.
Good morning.
I'm the father of one of the victims from the first Ford Hood shooting. It took place November the 5th, 2009. And, I don't understand because our country is so upside down. We can go ahead and all the turmoil out in Missouri and across our country regarding Michael Brown's death, all the issues with the Trayvon Martin case, and the president gets involved in both of them with comments and statements that he makes, yet he pretty much turns his back on the victims from the first Ford Hood shooting. And I just, it's a travesty of justice. These folks, men and women from 23 different states, were killed or wounded. There were There were blacks, there was Asian, there were Hispanics, there were Caucasians. You know, as a complete melting pot. I didn't see anybody at my son's funeral. You know, it's just, it absolutely amazes me. And I've gone to D.C. twice. I've gone to every single office soliciting support for two bills, and you know, I get enough votes in the co-sponsors in the House, but I can't get the doggone thing on the floor for a vote. And the senators, oh my goodness, 20 men and women from 23 states were killed or wounded, yet only 8 of the senators representing these people supported the truth.
Well, Howard, I can tell you that first of all, we're very sorry for your loss, and we thank your son for his service. And that loss was incurred during a terrorist attack on U.S. soil, and he was serving his country on that base. And the fact that this administration would in any way impugn that or soft pedal that or play with that is unfortunately indicative of just the absolute lack of character that is has continuously been emanating from this White House, and it's a disgrace, quite honestly. But I thank you for telling us about this, and we can't thank you enough for the service that your son gave to this country. And I agree with you that the optics of this, that the sense that the administration will send senior officials to this shooting incident, which, as we see now, is a police officer self-defense. Based on the law, that is what happened. And now we're told that they'll consider it workplace violence on Fort Hood, which it most certainly was not. Howard? Oh, well, Howard, I wanted to give you the final word there, Howard, but I thank you for your call, and I'm terribly sorry about what happened to your son. And your son gave his life for his country. It was a terrorist attack on U.S. soil, and there's a debt incurred that we will never be able to repay him. All right. We'll take more calls if we've got them. 888-727-BECK. This is the Glenn Beck Show. We'll be back in a minute. Talk seconds.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. As many people start their holiday shopping, some in Ferguson, Missouri are staging peaceful Black Friday protests after the recent decision not to indict a white police officer for killing an unarmed black teen.
They take a loop around the store chanting, "Hands up, don't shoot," and then they move on to other businesses. They are planning to continue those protests as well as others not related to boycotting Black Friday. Tomorrow, a march is also planned by the NAACP from here in Ferguson to the state's capital.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. Thousands in New England still without power after a big snowstorm. For many, that meant not having the usual Thanksgiving dinner like this New Hampshire woman.
We had our turkey in the oven for about an hour, and the power went out. It was a little panicky at first.
Many could be without power till Sunday. Crude oil prices continue to fall to the lowest point in 5 years. While good for drivers, experts say it's also a sign of weakness in the global economy. Fox News. We report, you decide.
It's Secret Santa time, and you drew Carl. He loves kitten videos, talking about kittens, and drives a tiny car that looks like one. Carl needs to man up, so get him a quality 7-piece Evercraft combination wrench set at Napa for only $9.99. $9.99 for wrenches to take those ridiculous kitten ears off his car. Hopefully. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 12/31/14.
Honey, I had a premonition about Black Friday.
Let me guess. Long lines and tons of people.
Nope. I saw great deals at Staples.
Were you on Staples.com when you had this vision?
I don't recall, but it was clear as day. Blowout prices on laptops and headphones. You got me a tablet.
Did I?
Yeah, we were in, out, and home in time to have breakfast in bed.
You saw all that.
You made omelets.
Omelets.
Have a stress-free Black Friday at Staples. Go to Staples.com for deals and coupons good on the hottest tech gifts all week long. Less stress, more savings. Staples.
Look who just walked in the room. Joel Wiesner from What's Up Ocala. Hey, Joel, I'm looking for something to do this weekend. You got any ideas?
Absolutely. Check out our event calendar online at www.whatsupocala.com, and there is plenty of events there for you. Daily news updates to event reviews and magazine articles.
Really?
We've organized it all in one place online for you to cut through all of the hassle of finding something to do this weekend. We have a daily event calendar, a bi-monthly magazine, and we also do daily news articles.
All right, Joel, that's perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Whatsupocala.com.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
This is the Salvation Army, and I'm Major George Patterson to let you know that the Salvation Army is available 24 hours a day to provide help to anyone. We also have a family store at 120 Northwest 10th Street in Ocala. On Tuesday to Saturday from 9 to 4, you can do your shopping, or if you want to donate, you can call 352-732-4469, and we'll even pick up 352-732-4469. All funds generated by our store go into the programs here in Marion County to help the needy.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Alger Hiss could not conceal his fury. He lashed out at the congressman, accusing them of leaking his previous day's testimony. A committee staffer, concerned Hiss might strike Chambers, grabbed him by the arm. Chambers identified Hiss as the man who he had known as a member of the Communist Party. But as candid as Chambers had been, he had not told them everything he knew. Not even close. From page 183 of Dreamers and Deceivers, True Stories of the Heroes and Villains That Made America by Glenn Beck. On sale now. Visit glennbeck.com for details.
Makes a great stocking stuffer. Dreamers and Deceivers. You can check that out. You can also get Miracles and Massacres, which is the first in the series. But Dreamers and Deceivers out now. The Alger Hiss chapter, one of my favorites. I would definitely recommend you check it out. This is Buck Sexton in for Glenn Beck on the Glenn Beck radio program. My Facebook is facebook.com/Buck Sexton. A great place to go. Send me some questions. If you don't want to call in, you want to write them. That would be one good means of doing so. And I have some callers now that want to lend us their insights. So we will take Melody in St. Louis. Melody, you're on the Glenn Beck program.
Hi, Buck. How are you this morning?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Yes, I live here in St. Louis, and I wanted to let everybody know there are some good places here in St. Louis. However, they seem to be taken over by all of these people throwing their temper tantrums. But something I think that a lot of people don't realize, that I blame a lot of this on our local news channels, 2, 4, and especially Channel 5. I really think that they have brought on so much more anger in everyone with the way that the coverage that they've provided.
What kind of things have they been doing?
Well, they're just really one-sided, really, to put it in a nutshell. But with just the way that they've worded everything this whole time, it's, Darren Wilson, the officer that, killed an unarmed teen. But there were reasons for all of it. They just really make it look bad. It's like they've really egged things on this whole entire time. And
look, I've seen that in media across the country, not just in your local St. Louis news broadcast, but it's certainly happening. Melody, are you close? Have you seen some of the protests yourself, or are there any Black Friday protests that are happening?
Oh, I haven't seen them myself. I won't go to the stores. No way.
Good. Stay safe and enjoy your day off if you have it. Melody, thank you for calling in. Oh, it's really been amazing, even for those of us who have a very low opinion of the media, and in general, I put myself certainly in that category. The way that they have framed this entire situation has just been deplorable. It's been really bad. It has gone below even my very low expectations for what I would expect in this kind of a scenario. And given the outcome, for example, in the trial of George Zimmerman with Trayvon Martin, and the way the media there just openly tried to create a narrative that wasn't true in some cases. People were fired for doctoring tapes, for example, and there was a stacking of the deck. The media was an active participant in that trial. At least some of the media was an active participant in the trial, in the sense that they were trying to create a narrative of guilt that was beyond what the facts actually were. And as we know, there was a not guilty verdict in that trial. This one didn't even go to trial. And so now the trial process itself is something that is receiving a lot of scrutiny and dissection from those of the progressive left. Now, one of the biggest casualties of all this is the notion that the truth is, in and of itself, an important thing. That the truth has its own worth and is, in fact, an essential thing. Truth has become, to these protesters and to this Ferguson movement, in many ways irrelevant. Our justice system itself is under assault, but really the truth as something to aspire towards is itself under assault as well. You hear people saying, well, even if he didn't put his hands up, referring to Michael Brown, even if the hands weren't up, we're still going to chant, hands up, don't shoot. Well, isn't the whole derivation of it from the incident supposed to be that his hands were up and he was surrendering? Well, now what you're saying is that you've been telling us all that there was a surrender that happened that did not occur, but you don't care. And you expect us not to take notice of this. You expect the rest of the country not to say, these facts don't add up. There's also been a tremendous amount of, I would say, exploitation of this event by the media. They're parading grieving parents in front of us. And anyone, of course, would mourn the loss of a child under any circumstances. And I'm sure the parents listening could understand that. Even under circumstances where a child may have been the aggressor. To parents, of course, that does not really matter. It is a loss, and a substantial one, and we have empathy for that. But the media then holds up these parents and the family of Michael Brown as people that must be listened to and cannot be challenged. You see, they're grieving. And so if you try to say anything about what the message is now or what the claims are, you must be some kind of a monster. You have the media creating heroes or icons out of people who are not heroes. They are grieving. They've lived through a tragedy, and as I said, a loss of a child is always a personal tragedy, irrespective of the circumstance. It does not matter. But then by this, you can't actually have the media come out and say, well, you must listen to everything they say, and you must not challenge anything that is said. As I'm sure some of you know, there was a member of sort of the extended Brown family yelling, "Burn this place." I will replace his verbiage with something I can say on air. "Burn this place down," in a crowded place that, if there is such a thing under statute as incitement to riot or incitement to violence in a crowd, which is a felony, by the way, in some places. This would seem to be covered by that. But no, we're told that it won't matter in this case. That yelling, burn this down, right before a lot of people decided to go burn stuff down, well, that's not. The law that exists that says you can't do that, that law is irrelevant now. The truth is a casualty in all of this, don't you see? You also have, and this is just astonishing, the lies that were told to the grand jury, the lies that were told by so-called eyewitnesses, is the kind of stuff that would be hard to make up how preposterous it is. Even the Associated Press has done an overview of these. You had a woman who said she was smoking a cigarette during the shooting, smoking a cigarette close by, and there was a second police officer in Wilson's vehicle. And then when the prosecutor pushed her on this issue, she gave a description of the second police officer. Well, as you certainly know, there was no second police officer. Now, there are details that an eyewitness may or may not get correct, or in the heat of the moment may see things in a frenzy or in a flurry that are difficult to decipher and disaggregate after the fact. A second police officer in the car would not be one of them. At some point, the lie is too obvious, and that's what actually happened with that eyewitness. Another woman, according to the Associated Press, testified that she saw Brown leaning through the officer's window from his navel up, with his hand moving up and down as if he were punching the officer. But when the same witness returned to testify again on another day, she said she suffers from mental disorder, has racist views, and that she had trouble distinguishing the truth from things that she reads online. This is what I'm sure they would call, within the legal community, not a credible witness. You have another situation where prosecutors said that a woman had entirely fabricated an incident and hadn't seen anything that day from the shooting, claimed to be an eyewitness. And in this case, the witness lives in a predominantly black neighborhood, and acknowledged that he changed his story to fit details of the autopsy that he learned about on TV. Quote, so it was after you learned that the things you said you saw couldn't have happened that way that you changed your story about what you saw? That was the prosecutor said. Yeah, to coincide with what really happened, the witness replied. You see, if you're a witness giving sworn testimony and you're just saying stuff that you heard on TV or that you were told to say by people in your community, and that's a lie, you see, that's a charge, actually. That's called perjury, which is illegal. Not if you're Bill Clinton, then you can just lie and lie and lie. But for the rest of us, perjury under oath is illegal. And it is something that is prosecuted. In fact, in some circumstances, even just lying to a federal officer, I believe this federal statute is 1001, is punishable by 5 years in federal prison. And they do enforce that against people, by the way. That's not just something that's on the books. This isn't something that says, there's those laws in parts of New England that say, you can't kiss your wife on the cheek on Sunday or something, and no one's really worried about, someone kicking down their door and arresting them for Sunday cheek kissing. But this law, lying to a federal officer, is in fact enforced, and people are sitting in federal prison because of it, including in cases where there was no other criminal conduct, which, by the way, is, I think, deplorable, but that's where it is. But you have people lying under oath openly. The prosecutor knows it. And instead of saying, whoa, this was an attempt to railroad somebody, to defame somebody and put him in prison, to stack the deck against a defendant. And remember, our whole system is set up, all the procedural checks, all the hurdles, everything the state has to go through, including jury of your peers and a grand jury to actually push the indictment. That's meant to tilt the balance towards the defendant because the state is very powerful. And if it's too easy for the state to send people away, and it already is, by the way, in most cases, way too easy for the state to send people away, you have something of a domestic tyranny. And yet you have witnesses changing their accounts wholesale, complete fabrications, saying that they saw Mike Brown shot in the back, and the forensic evidence proves that is literally not possible. And then under oath saying, yeah, okay, I didn't actually see him get shot in the back. Well, that's a relevant fact, isn't it? That destroys the entire narrative if it is not in fact true. No prosecutions for perjury. None. I'm reminded of the infamous Duke lacrosse case. Another time at which we were told that this was about broader themes of race and class and American society. A bunch of college-age lacrosse players from Duke, and they were facing very lengthy prison sentences for a sexual assault that none of them committed, and that the prosecutor in that case, Nifong, knew they had not committed. But he went forward with the charges anyway because he wanted to prove a point. What that point is, who knows? Wanted to get reelected and figured the racial politics of this, sending away a bunch of upper middle class lacrosse players from Duke, that would somehow help his case. But you'll remember that the woman in that case, who was just a rampant and practiced liar, no charges were pressed for her perjury, for her false testimony, which could have sent people away for decades in prison. And then I believe later on she was involved in a stabbing. I think it was even a fatal stabbing, if memory serves. So they didn't press charges in that case, and look what happened. Perjury is a crime or it is not a crime. The truth matters or it does not matter. You can't pick and choose this. You can't contextualize it. You can't pretend that facts are whatever you want them to be. One of the greatest casualties we've seen in this entire Ferguson fiasco is respect for the process, for the law, and also a basic underlying appreciation for the necessity of truth. And how you can't just decide that there are bigger considerations that justify lying. Lying, which is what has been happening here. 888-727-BECK. This is Buck Sexton in for Glenn Beck today. Facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Please go there, and I'll be back in just a minute.
The Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
The news today tells us the world is far from safe. The terrorist group ISIS continues its bloody conquest in the Middle East. Foreign governments repeatedly send cyber terrorists to attack our financial institutions and government institutions, and we don't do anything about it. You need to learn now how you can diversify your portfolio with a recognized safe haven asset, gold. And the only gold company I trust is Goldline. See how easy it is to add physical gold to your portfolio or IRA. Ask for your free investor's kit and have confidence in working with a company that's been helping clients acquire gold for over 50 years. Call Goldline today. Receive your free investor kit at 1-866-GOLDLINE. Ask them about the payment options and read their important risk information to find out if buying gold is right for you. They'll also include your free copy of the latest Precious Metals Insider, which is full of useful information about the gold and silver markets, as well as a special metal personally designed by me. Credit card orders receive the same price as cash. Shipping is always free, so don't wait. Call 866-465-3546. 1-866-GOLDLINE.
Here's former Mayor Rudy Giuliani with an important message for holiday shoppers.
Black Friday and Cyber Monday kick off the holiday shopping season. Every gift we buy at the mall, in a store, or online increases our risk of identity theft, and it can take you years to fix it.
No one can stop all identity theft, but the most comprehensive identity theft protection available comes from LifeLock. Enjoy peace of mind while shopping this holiday season with LifeLock Ultimate Plus. It goes beyond just monitoring ATM and credit card transactions. LifeLock Ultimate Plus helps protect your social security number, bank and retirement accounts, even the equity in your home. Don't let identity thieves spoil your holidays. Help protect yourself with LifeLock Ultimate Plus now. Visit LifeLock.com and enter promo code AWARE or call and mention AWARE to save 10% on your LifeLock Ultimate Plus membership. Call 1-800-995-7932. 800-995-7932. 800-995-7932. Network does not cover all transactions.
This year, thanks to the efforts of the Bad Gift Givers Anonymous Association for the Givers of Bad Gifts, better known as the BGGA, the ratio of bad gift giving has been drastically reduced since our last commercial. But there is still much work to be done, and we need your help. Ties and sweaters just won't do this year. Join the thousands, nay, hundreds of thousands of smart people who said enough is enough and went to Ocala Aviation, where they purchased the gift above all other gifts, the present that soars above all other presents, the one that makes your friends jealous that they didn't think of it first. That's right, I'm talking about a discovery flight from Ocala Aviation. Whatever bad gift you were thinking of, stop. We're here to help. Let us convert that bad idea into a great one. For only $99, you can give the gift of flight, a discovery flight from Ocala Aviation. Call today. It's not too late. 861-7484. That's 861-7484.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services. When your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements, from damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA.
To the Glenn Beck Program.
This is Buck Sexton in for Glenn Beck. I'm the Blaze's national security editor, formerly of the CIA, and you can hear me every day on theblaze.com/radio, the Blaze Radio Network, 12 to 2 Eastern Time. Let's take some calls, 888-727-BECK. We have Rusty in Alabama on the line. Rusty, you're on the Glenn Beck Program. You're speaking to Buck. Rusty? Do we have Rusty? Oh, Rusty.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Rusty, there we go, buddy. Hey, we almost dropped you there. Good to have you on. What's on your mind?
Thanks, buddy. Just a couple comments about Ferguson and then one suggestion about the Black Friday boycott. I was in Ferguson on Wednesday night. You made a mention just a moment ago about the truth. Ever since this thing took on the animal aspect that it is, once it was, discussed, a white officer shooting an unarmed black male, truth was really irrelevant as far as the people that are there that are not protesting for the right cause. You got so many folks, all those folks that were looting and burning had nothing to do with the Michael Brown incident, really. It's just an opportunity to speak out against the police, against the system, as you put it. So the truth is really irrelevant to them. There was about 4 protesters that were really vocal and on Wednesday night. There's 3 black males and 1 young black female, I would say all under the age of 20. Just their main thing was cursing the National Guard. That's all they were doing, cursing the National Guard. And, the National Guard was there because they were ordered to, or they go to jail. But
thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. We got to go into a break here, but I appreciate you calling in. Buck will be right back. Just a minute.
The Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
As a guy who learned the hard way how important proper nutrition is on your health and the great harm excess weight can have on your health, I urge you to get serious about your health with SimpleToLose.com. Diets don't work, and you're really only going to be successful losing weight when you learn how to eat differently, and that is why the free health coaches at Simple to Lose are so helpful. They teach you how to eat 6 meals a day and why it works. Many people on my team are working with Simple to Lose and their health coaches. As a team, we've lost over 850 pounds. Mary has lost over 85 pounds and wants to live a long life to keep her family strong. Brad's lost 40 pounds, finally feels like he did when he was in his 30s. Chris, whose father died young due to obesity, has lost 100 pounds and is off most of his medications. Change your life, get healthy, and thrive today. Go to SimpleToLose.com today, not tomorrow. Go today. SimpleToLose.com.
Results do vary. Typical weight loss is 2 to 5 pounds per week for the first 2 weeks, then 1 to 2 pounds per week thereafter.
Big Green Fever savings are back at John Deere. Choose 0% financing on new John Deere compact tractors, utility tractors, and hay tools, or get big cash off. It's a great time to buy. So if you want to save big, act now. Offer ends February 2nd, 2015, subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Visit Fields Equipment in Winter Haven, Claremont, or Zolfo Springs, or on the web at fieldsequip.com. For more info, visit myjohndeeredealer.com.
Honey, I had a premonition about Black Friday.
Let me guess, long lines and tons of people.
Nope, I saw great deals at Staples.
Were you on Staples.com when you had this vision?
I don't recall, but it was clear as day. Blowout prices on laptops and headphones. You got me a tablet.
Did I?
Yeah, we were in, out, and home in time to have breakfast in bed.
You saw all that.
You made omelets.
Omelets.
Have a stress-free Black Friday at Staples. Go to Staples.com for deals and coupons good on the hottest tech gifts all week long. Less stress, more safe.
News Talk 1370 WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. It seems a lot of people couldn't wait to start the holiday shopping season. Many stores were open Thanksgiving with solid results.
It's to save money, and also this is the best day to get anything on sale.
The early Thanksgiving hours were good for business at the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota. It says it drew 100,000 customers between 5 p.m. Thursday and 1 a.m. Friday.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Some in Missouri using Black Friday to protest a grand jury's decision not to indict the Ferguson police officer who fatally shot an unarmed black teen. Minister Joshua Johnson would like to see President Obama speak out more.
I think it's an individual choice, but the expectation is that he would speak up a little bit more.
Johnson outside a Walmart in Bridgeton, Missouri. Police in Austin trying to determine why a man shot at several downtown buildings today and tried to set the Mexican consulate on fire. He was then shot dead. It's not known if it was self-inflicted or if he was hit by police. Fox News, we report, you decide.
It's Secret Santa time, and you drew Carl. He loves kitten videos, talking about kittens, and drives a tiny car that looks like one. Carl needs to man up, so get him a quality 7-piece Evercraft combination wrench set at Napa for only $9.99. $9.99 for wrenches to take those ridiculous kitten ears off his car. Hopefully. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. at participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 12/31/14.
Honey, I had a premonition about Black Friday.
Let me guess, long lines and tons of people.
Nope. I saw great deals at Staples.
Were you on Staples.com when you had this vision?
I don't recall, but it was clear as day. Blowout prices on laptops and headphones. You got me a tablet.
Did I?
Yeah, we were in, out, and home in time to have breakfast in bed.
You saw all that.
You made omelets.
Omelets.
Have a stress-free Black Friday at Staples. Go to Staples.com for deals and coupons good on the hottest tech gifts all week long. Less stress, more savings. Staples.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
A psychopath may love absolutely everything about you. For example, if you say you're shy, they'll laugh at every joke you attempt. If you're an avid hiker obsessed with modern art, they'll probably love that too. There's no conclusive research proving that echinacea is effective against the common cold. Instead, take vitamin D. People who do the most texting at night have the worst sleep.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services, when your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements. From damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retooled.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out. New shows? Check. We are Black Force. Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire. Because that's how exotic it is. We are Black Force.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
We all want to belong. We all want to be heard. We all want to be free. Want to feel the hurt. We all want to belong, be a part of a spark. We all want to be free, want to feel safe, kept far from the dark. All we want is love.
What you're about to hear is the fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
All we want is love.
Buck Sexton here in for Glenn Beck today on the Glenn Beck radio program. Thank you for staying with me into the third hour of the show. I'll be on for 2 more hours after this on the Blaze Radio Network, just like I am every day. You can go to theblaze.com/radio to join me there. We'll go with a bit of a freestyle. We call it Buck Wild, actually. And I'm coming to you from what we also refer to as the Freedom Hut here in New York City. So there are some protests. I've been trying to keep up with this. There are some protests going on at various outlets. Target and Walmart have been specifically targeted, no pun intended, by that was bad, but I don't know how else to say it, by Ferguson protesters, and they're walking into various stores and screaming about stuff, shouting about things, and just disrupting people's day, and giving people a bit of a jolt who are just trying to buy presents for family members, friends, kids. And they think that, well, they don't actually think this is going to change any minds. But here's what I will promise you. I will not only speak to you about the depressing and rough side of this in this hour, because I have seen some signs of people actually standing up for what is true and what is right. We have seen people coming together. So I will give you that side of it as well, not just go into the depths of despair that we should feel when we read a lot of the coverage of this, a lot of the writing and analysis surrounding Ferguson. It's just absolutely deplorable. It's been the worst. And I think a very good example of this. And like I said, we'll move into the positive side. I have one particular, a few things in mind, actually, I want to share with you about that. As I said, the truth has been a casualty here. And I think one of the best examples of this was when someone was live streaming, one of these protester / sort of citizen journalists, as they call them. I cover the Occupy Wall Street movement for The Blaze extensively. I went to all of their major rallies here in New York City, and I can see many of the parallels. It's similar structurally how they've set up the protests and how they're communicating via social media, Twitter and Facebook. And there was one individual who was live streaming. So he's holding up his phone, and it's using the phone as a camera of events happening. This was the night after the grand jury decision came down. And the phone was stolen out of his hand. And he immediately then goes to Twitter, I guess on a laptop or elsewhere, to say that the police swiped the phone out of his hand. What he didn't realize was that the phone was still live streaming, and that it became clear from the discussion the individuals had about, hey, we just robbed this guy, ha ha ha, along those lines, that it was actually, of course, looters. But the idea here is that it's so important to show the police being militarized or destructive, that even an individual, you have journalists who essentially are willing to say, I got hit in the face with a rock by a protester throwing it at me. It's the policeman's fault. What? Oh, yes. That's how backwards this has become. That's how perverted the truth has been as a result of all that's happening in Ferguson. And you do start to feel like you're in a sort of bizarro world, because all of a sudden, trial by jury doesn't matter anymore. All of a sudden, presumption of innocence doesn't matter. All of a sudden, you can lie, perjure under oath, all of that stuff. There are excuses made for it. You even have people coming out and saying that, well, it's ridiculous that the prosecutor in this case presented all this evidence, including exculpatory evidence. What they don't realize, evidence that would prove that you probably shouldn't bring this case, is that the prosecutor at his discretion could have just not brought the case at all. And if it wasn't for the immense political pressure, the White House deciding to create a federal civil rights investigation out of this, which immediately changes the whole game. It immediately impugns the rights of the accused here, right? Because, well, it's a federal trial on top of the shooting incident. Well, that must mean that something's wrong here. Oh, the White House is involved. The prosecutor could have just said, I'm not even bringing this thing. But he did. But then when he presented evidence to show, you know what? I really shouldn't have brought this thing based on the facts, including all of these witnesses who are lying in a fashion that's so blatant. It would be hilarious if it wasn't tragic because they're trying to ruin someone's life. And people can't seem to come to grips with the fact that it is the duty, the sworn duty of every prosecutor, of every officer of the court in this country to do justice. They're not a prosecution machine. They're not a political referendum machine. It's not, oh, we're angry, charge this guy. Okay, sure, sounds good. No. Justice. It is a justice system. It is not perfect, but it aspires to be. And part of that aspiration is understanding that the process is not to be influenced by political considerations. It is the rights of the accused and the evidence brought to bear. That's it. A prosecutor's job is to do justice. It's not to just get someone to get them because a lot of people are angry. But we've lost that very simple truth, as I said before. But that's why here we saw the evidence presented to the grand jury, the, quote, inconsistencies. By inconsistencies, what the press means is giant lies of many of these eyewitnesses. Some of the eyewitness testimony from the very beginning, I even went on air and said, this is ridiculous. This person's lying. You might as well say that space aliens came down and kidnapped somebody. This is just flatly, it's impossible if you have a basic understanding of physics to do the things that Officer Wilson was initially accused of doing. But press outlets ran with it. Oh, did you hear this eyewitness? Oh, he's great. Bearing false witness is actually what was happening, which is evil. And it's also illegal when done under sworn testimony. And you have all these witnesses lying because of what? Some misplaced sense of solidarity? Solidarity with the movement? And then just in some ways even worse, you have those egging this on, the instigators on the outside, the media, the pundits, the analysts saying, well, yeah, you know, fine, there's supposed to be a process, but this time the process failed. You've got the president himself coming out and saying, I understand the frustrations here. Really? Explain to the rest of us what this shooting has to do with those frustrations. Unless you're telling me that they need to change the law and that police officers aren't allowed to defend themselves when they're getting punched in the face, I'm not really clear on what the frustration is here or how it ties to that incident. Broader frustration, sure, we can have that talk. And in fact, I think we'll address some of those things in just a few minutes. One thing, by the way, just to give you a sense of media coverage, how many of you heard, for example, that 2 FBI agents were shot 7 miles from Ferguson in the last 24 hours trying to apprehend a murder suspect? You know, we hear a lot about the shooting and all the police and police executing people in broad daylight. 2 FBI agents shot. I believe they are going to survive, but that happens. There's a reason why our law enforcement have weapons and they have rules for defending themselves. They don't just show up and say, excuse me, sir, would you like to go into custody today? Nope. Okay, sorry. See you later. Although it seems like that's actually what some of this protest movement wants to happen. I'm sure you didn't hear about the 2 FBI agents who were shot, but you certainly heard a lot about Mike Brown. But then there's the media in all of this. And there's a piece on Gawker. I just want to read to you some of just how insidious the coverage can be. And as I said, we're not just going to plumb the depths of despair here. I will take you to another place, which I see emerging. An open and honest and introspective and constructive discussion of the frustrations, shall we call them, broadly speaking. Forget about the Mike Brown thing specifically, because the police officer was not indicted, and all the facts indicate that he should not have been unless we're missing something. And if that's the case, well, then show us what we're missing. Don't just tell us that people are angry and everyone's lying. You have somebody writing at the website Gawker, which I do not recommend you spend much time on at all, that unless you want to take a shower right afterwards, at a September town hall meeting in Harlem, Carl Dix, a longtime Uptown fixture and mouthpiece, stood before the microphone in the auditorium of the Schomburg Center and called for a mass rebellion. It's going to take a revolution, he said, nothing less, to end this and the horrors of this system once and for all. Dix's statement came at the climax of a bloody New York summer marked by unending police brutality. I live here. I'm not aware of the unending police brutality, but nonetheless. And his sentiment was justified. Dix was right. This was war. Specifically, this is and has always been a war for recognition. These are the author's words, not mine. Quote, to be black in America is to be constantly at war. Oh. This would be the opposite of constructive. This would be the written word used to describe a certain angry psychosis, I think. But he goes even beyond this. The bodies are piled high. It is a relentless, slow-moving genocide. Renisha McBride, Rekia Boyd, Jordan Davis, Ezell Ford, John Crawford, Oscar Grant, Ramarley Graham, John Crawford, Aaron Campbell, Jonathan Farrell, Trayvon Martin. A genocide. A war and genocide happening in this country. That doesn't seem to be very constructive at all, especially because it is completely and utterly preposterous. But this is what the intelligentsia is pushing. They're trying to rabble-rouse, trying to get people angry, trying to get people to decide that whatever they want to do to express the rage that's being fanned by these media outlets is justified. I've even read pieces, and I'm not making this up, where some writers have said that it's a good thing to burn down the businesses in Ferguson because it sends a message that the police will have to respond to. So, ipso facto, by burning down some businesses, including minority-owned businesses in this neighborhood, we're sending a message to the police that they'll have to listen to. You cannot get more stupid or more divorced from basic moral considerations than that. Oh, we're going to just destroy innocent individuals' property because the police will have to say, oh, I guess that's bad. I mean, this is just the logic of the tyrant and the authoritarian. This is, we can't get to the village we want to burn down, so we'll just burn down the closest one. The message is the same. War and genocide. Not what is happening in this country. Not the kind of verbiage, not the kind of analysis, not the kind of anything we should be talking about at this time. I want to take this and sort of flip the script. I want to give you another side of this coin. Some of the good that is happening as a result, or in response to, I should say, in response to what's been happening. Some of the good in the conversation and the discussion. There can be positivity that comes out of hiding right now, which I think is what's happening, as long as we can have an open and frank discussion about what's going on. Find other people of goodwill and good faith, and finally address some of the issues that are real issues, while also simultaneously decrying and absolutely distancing ourselves from the moral perversion that has been the case at the hands of many of these protesters. The decision to take it out upon innocent bystanders, innocent property, for what? To send what message? 888-727-BECK. This is Buck Sexton. Back in a minute.
The fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
It's easy for us to be entertained these days. We've got apps, we have TV shows, we have movies on our phones, on our tablets. It's endless. But it's also disconnecting us. What happened to just entertaining ourselves? What happened to all the things that we used to do before smartphones and TVs and movies? What happened to all those things that we used to do around the dinner table? In fact, I believe the dinner table could be considered the original entertainment center. We'd sit, we'd talk, and more than anything else, we'd laugh. I'm going to challenge you to spend some more time at the table. There's a game that is perfect for getting people talking and laughing, and it's called Say Anything. It's the game my kids actually ask to play. You ask a few questions, and the next thing you know, everybody's talking and laughing. It's a fun game your family's going to love. Get it for your family or give it as a Christmas gift. And by the way, it's on sale this week at Target for $19. Give Say Anything this Christmas and go to Target before it sells out. Remember, it's on sale. Say Anything. Available at Target.
2013 gave us Obamacare, yay, and the IRS targeting and the NSA spying scandals and a slew of other train wrecks coming out of the Obama administration. If you want 2014 to be better, you need to take action. Join me right now and become a member of AMAC, the conservative alternative to AARP. AMAC is better, better for you, better for America. Go to americaisrising.com right now, americaisrising.com, or 888-262-2006. americaisrising.com.
You don't need to spend a fortune to get a great gun at Cheaper Than Dirt. Solid defensive shotguns start well below $200, and modern sporting rifles prices have never been lower. Don't let the next panic over guns drive the price out of your budget. Ammo prices have finally returned to normal as well. This is the best time to buy guns and ammunition in years. Price, selection, and great service is available at cheaperthandirt.com. That's cheaperthandirt.com.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment, 352-615-5566.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA, news, talk, sports, and more.
The Glenn Beck Program.
Buck Sexton in for Glenn Beck. I'll be continuing on with my show at noon, so go to theblaze.com/radio. You can listen in. We'll do a couple of hours starting at noon Eastern Time. ISIS, the Islamic State, apparently views... I know I said I'd go to the positive. I will. Just put a pin in that for a second. ISIS views Ferguson protest movements as fertile recruiting ground for the jihad. And no, I am not making this up. According to Site Intelligence, they do some great translations and work off of the jihadist postings on the web. There are messages directly from known Islamic State jihadist accounts in Syria that are telling the Ferguson protesters to come join up with them, the Islamic State. One tweet says, "March against tyranny and arm yourselves against the true terrorists of our time, the U.S. government." And then another one says that in the Islamic State, there are no racists. There is no difference between black and white. And so they're saying that this is essentially a post-racial utopia, I guess, in the Islamic State. Yeah, ISIS, come for the equality, stay for the suicide vests. By the way, the notion that there's no racism or something is absolutely preposterous within these jihadist groups. They are, and much of their propaganda, and I could find some of it if I had a little more time today, much of their propaganda is just overtly racist. And of course, on top of that, they also want to kill all the infidels. So they really just can't keep track of who they want to kill. Never mind racial, religious, all sorts of justifications for it. But yeah, the Islamic State is looking to recruit in Ferguson, or rather the Ferguson protesters, I should say. Let's take James in New Orleans. James, this is the Glenn Beck program. You're speaking to Buck Sexton.
Hey, Buck, good morning. Thanks for filling in for Glenn today. How are you doing?
Good, sir. Thank you.
Hey, I just have, you kind of stole a little bit of my thunder earlier, but I really do want to know why there's not public outcry for some prosecution of Dorian. I mean, when you think about it, it's his version of the events that really lit the fuse on this entire situation. The liberal left news media took this guy, they idolized him in front of the nation without even, checking to see if there was any credibility, not only to himself personally as a human being, but to his story. And it's just, I don't understand the news media, how it is that they're not held accountable for their strength. They have a lot of
what the news media does is, what the news media does on this is irresponsible. But what some of these witnesses, and particularly that first witness you're citing, have done is actually illegal. I mentioned before Alger Hiss and what became known as the Pumpkin Papers and his efforts to assist the Soviets by stealing classified information from the United States government, and how Whittaker Chambers, this is all in Dreamers and Deceivers, by the way. You can read the Hiss chapter. He was found guilty of perjury, and perjury is a crime. Imagine if it wasn't a crime. Everyone would just go and lie under oath and see what they could get away with all the time. Now, there should be a high bar. It should be relevant to the case that, if you were asked under oath for some reason what you had for breakfast yesterday and you said eggs and it was actually cereal, I mean, nobody should go to jail for that. But if it's relevant, if it's material to the case at hand and is provable that you knowingly and willfully, which is the key to any criminal statute and should be the key always for any criminal prosecution, that you knowingly and willfully lied, you should be prosecuted. But I don't have a good answer for you as to why it is not happening, other than the politics are more important than the truth here. And that's really the underlying description of everything that is happening, is that the politics are considered more important than the actual facts. All right, sir. Thank you very much for calling in. Facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Please like the page. I put fun stuff up there, including podcasts of my show, The Buck Sexton Show. At Buck Sexton on Twitter as well. I'm live tweeting throughout the show today. I hope you're enjoying your Black Friday, whether you're out shopping or in the office or at home hanging. I'll stay with you for the rest of this hour. 888-727-BECK. Back in a minute.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. It seems a lot of people couldn't wait to start the holiday shopping season. Many stores were open Thanksgiving with solid results.
It's to save money, and also this is the best day to get anything on sale.
The early Thanksgiving hours were good for business at the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota. It says it drew 100,000 customers between 5 p.m. Thursday and 1 a.m. Friday.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Some in Missouri using Black Friday to protest a grand jury's decision not to indict the Ferguson police officer who fatally shot an unarmed black teen. Minister Joshua Johnson would like to see President Obama speak out more.
I think it's an individual choice, but the expectation is that he would speak up a little bit more.
Johnson outside a Walmart in Bridgeton, Missouri. Police in Austin trying to determine why a man shot at several downtown buildings today and tried to set the Mexican consulate on fire. He was then shot dead. It's not known if it was self-inflicted or if he was hit by police. Fox News, we report, you decide.
It's Secret Santa time, and you drew Carl. He loves kitten videos, talking about kittens, and drives a tiny car that looks like one. Carl needs to man up, so get him a quality 7-piece Evercraft combination wrench set at Napa for only $9.99. $9.99 for wrenches to take those ridiculous kitten ears off his car. Hopefully. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 12/31/14.
Honey, I had a premonition about Black Friday.
Let me guess. Long lines and tons of people.
Nope. I saw great deals at Staples.
Were you on Staples.com when you had this vision?
I don't recall, but it was clear as day. Blowout prices on laptops and headphones. You got me a tablet.
Did I?
Yeah, we were in, out, and home in time to have breakfast in bed.
You saw all that.
You made omelets.
Omelets.
Have a stress-free Black Friday at Staples. Go to staples.com for deals and coupons good on the hottest tech gifts all week long. Less stress, more savings. Staples.
Who would you feed if you had 50 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A? WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall have teamed up to reward one organization with 50 chicken sandwiches as a way of saying thanks for the great work that organization is doing in our community. And we need your help. See, there are so many great people doing great things that we need nominations. You can nominate your own organization or any organization you choose. Simply send an email to WOCA@WOCA.com. And in 350 words or less, tell us why the organization you are nominating should receive 50 free chicken sandwiches from WOCA and Chick-fil-A at the Paddock Mall. We'll review your nominations and then select one deserving organization each month. We'll announce the winner and even read the winning entry on the air. Make sure to include the contact name and phone number of the organization that you are nominating. And thanks from your friends at WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment. 352-615-5566.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Outside Ponzi's office circled the block. McMasters had witnessed this scene before, although under vastly different circumstances. Instead of joyful crowds eager to hand over their hard-earned money, people now looked terrified and angry. Some were in tears, a few even fainted.
Read the real story of Charles Ponzi and his great American scheme starting on page 113 of Dreamers and Deceivers. True stories of the heroes and villains that made America by Glenn Beck. On sale now. Visit glennbeck.com for details.
Dreamers and Deceivers, I was reading it myself last night. I read the chapter on Alan Turing and on Alger Hiss. I'm reading the rest of them this weekend. Great gift, a stocking stuffer, or you can, I got a plan for you. You can pick it up. You can read it yourself now. Just be gentle on the binding, and then you slip it in the stocking of somebody. You know, if you wrap it, they're not going to know that somebody maybe snuck a read in before they gave it away. I'm not saying I've read books before I've gifted them, but I'm not saying I haven't either. Okay, I've been talking to you about the bad side of all of this, just without any fancy words here. I can just say it that way. The bad side of what's been going on with this, the Ferguson movement, right? There's all these different, almost concentric circles of this. There's the Ferguson trial, or no trial actually, but the grand jury situation, and then there's what's happening in Ferguson, and then there's sort of the nationwide conversation and all the rest of it. And there's been so much so far that is particularly upsetting. And as I said, the truth has been an immediate and obvious casualty of much of the debate. It's not even really a debate. It's just sort of grandstanding and outrage and anger. Those are the loudest voices, at least. But there is a different side to this as well. There is a side of at least aspirations and truth and unity and honesty and decency. That exists too. Those voices are coming out. And if you seek them out, you can find them. I was particularly touched by a piece on Facebook written by Benjamin Watson, who is a New Orleans Saints tight end. And he was sharing his feelings. Now, some of you will read parts of it, and you may think that parts of it you won't agree with necessarily, but I can say that having read the whole post, which has gone completely viral, and when I read it last night, it had, I think, almost, what was it? Was it over 1 million shares? I think it has gone absolutely viral. But he wrote about Ferguson, and he's speaking as, of course, a professional athlete, as an American, as a black American. He's an individual who is sharing just his internal monologue on this issue. And he did so in a way that is thoughtful, and I think it creates the kind of opening for a real discussion that if the people who are protesting and if those within minority communities and the black community want to get a discussion going about real problems that exist, this kind of tone and approach is how you would do that. Not by burning down buildings, not by throwing rocks at police and yelling at people and calling people murderers and saying the cops are bloodthirsty killers, and that's not ever going to do it. Now, I know there are some that's actually the whole point of what they're doing, is they want to sow the seeds of resentment and hatred. And so we can't reach them. But there are some who feel a hopelessness, or they feel a despair about what's happening in their communities, and they do want a dialogue, or they want help, or they want to discuss the problems, or they want to change policy. And we are a country where freedom of speech is really it is our first principle when it comes to liberty. And we should engage in that dialogue and that discussion. But here's what Benjamin Watson wrote on his Facebook page, in part. I won't read the whole thing. You can see it on Facebook. But he wrote about Ferguson and what's been happening this week. I'm sympathetic because I wasn't there, so I don't know what exactly happened. Maybe Darren Wilson acted within his rights and duty as an officer of the law and killed Michael Brown in self-defense like any of us would in the circumstance. Now he has to fear the backlash against himself and his loved ones when he was only doing his job. What a horrible thing to endure. Or maybe he provoked Michael and ignited the series of events that led him to eventually murder this young man to prove a point. I'm confused because I don't know why it's so hard to obey a policeman. You will not win. And I don't know why some policemen abuse their power. Power is a responsibility, not a weapon to brandish and lord over the populace. I'm fearful because in the back of my mind, I know that although I'm a law-abiding citizen, I could still be looked upon as a threat to those who don't know me. So I will continue to have to go the extra mile to earn the benefit of the doubt. I'm introspective because sometimes I want to take our side without looking at the facts in the situation. Sometimes I feel like it's us against them. Sometimes I'm just as prejudiced as people I point fingers at. And that's not right. How can I look at white skin and make assumptions, but not want assumptions made about me? That's not right. I'm hopeful because I know that while we still have race issues in America, we enjoy a much different normal than those of our parents and grandparents. I see it in my personal relationships with teammates, friends, and mentors, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm encouraged because ultimately the problem is not a skin problem, it is a sin problem. Sin is the reason we rebel against authority. Sin is the reason we abuse our authority. Sin is the reason we are racist, prejudiced, and lie. Sin is the reason we cover for our own. It is the reason we riot, loot, and burn. But I'm encouraged because God has provided a solution for sin through his son Jesus, and with it a transformed heart and mind. One that's capable of looking past the outward and seeing what's truly important in every human being. The cure for the Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, and Eric Garner tragedies is not education or exposure, it's the gospel. So I'm finally encouraged because the gospel gives mankind hope. You see, if we're going to have a discussion about some of the painful issues, whether past or present, between different communities in this country, we should always premise it, base it, anchor it in our shared and common humanity, in our common citizenship, our love of liberty, of individual rights, of human dignity, of all of the things that we are supposed to embody as a nation, as a people, and as human beings. You hear these words written by an NFL player, and you automatically have a window into what this conversation could be. Now, is using the Michael Brown incident, is that a good jumping off point for this? No. In most ways, it certainly is not. But if we're going to have if they're going to force a conversation, we should look for the voices like this. Voices that feel unease or ill at ease with what's happening in certain communities, who are aware of racial iniquity without using it as a constant excuse or using it as a cudgel with which to batter people, either rhetorically or otherwise. An individual like Watson, who wants to engage in this kind of a constructive discussion. This is a voice that we should seek out. He sees this for what it is. The only moral position in Ferguson, the only moral position in race relations in this country can be that we do not see each other's race or color as mattering at all to the character of the individual, to their rights, to their liberties, to our commonness with them as our brothers and sisters. That's it. That's where the discussion has to begin, and that's where the discussion has to end. The rage and the hatred and the anger that we're hearing, it serves no purpose except to bring us further into darkness. So, I guess, in some sense, it's me telling you that as we're on what is called Black Friday, we should be lighting a candle instead of cursing the darkness that comes from the abandonment of principles and our shared humanity. Light a candle, as they say. 888-727-BECK. A few more stories like this in just a minute.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
We don't care what they say. It's gotta be a new way. 'Cause the Glenn Beck Program's on.
The Blaze Radio Network.
The Glenn Beck Program's on.
Go to literally any alarm company site, and you'll see them everywhere. Asterisks. Free security systems. Asterisks. Sounds great. Then you see that asterisk there, and you're like, wait a minute, what? Well, you got to sign a contract. No, you're only locked in for 3 years. Sky-high monthly bills. Surprise, fees, no way out. This is why I trust Simply Safe over everybody else. There's no asterisks, no contracts, no sneaky gotcha. This is a first-rate home security system. We've checked them out. We have it in our home. You should do the same. Completely wireless, top-of-the-line technology. Tech experts rave about this stuff, and with Simply Safe, you get professional monitoring for $15 a month. That's $15. It's unbeatable and so remarkably effective that actual police forces use this to catch criminals. And there's no annual contracts. Protect your home. No better choice than Simply Safe. Go to simplysafebeck.com right now. You'll save 10%. Go now, simplysafebeck.com.
2013 gave us Obamacare, yay, and the IRS targeting and the NSA spying scandals and a slew of other train wrecks coming out of the Obama administration. If you want 2014 to be better, you need to take action. Join me right now and become a member of AMAC, the conservative alternative to AARP. AMAC is better, better for you, better for America. Go to americaisrising.com right now, americaisrising.com, or 888-262-2006. americaisrising.com.
History is the greatest story ever told. Heroes and villains, tragedies and triumphs, dreamers and deceivers. #1 best-selling author Glenn Beck's new book makes history come alive. You don't just read about our past, you live it. From dreamers like Alan Turing, Desi Arnaz, and Walt Disney, to deceivers like Alger Hiss, Charles Ponzi, and liberal hero Upton Sinclair. These are people you only thought you knew. Glenn Beck's Dreamers and Deceivers, true stories of the heroes and villains who made America. On sale now wherever books are sold.
Hello, gorgeous. Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. I'd like to invite you to stop by and see our new boutique area and meet our staff of professional stylists. Here at Hello Gorgeous, we are ready to update your look with the latest trends. It's the perfect time to brighten up your look. So make your appointment now for those highlights and Brazilian blowout. But don't stop there. We are a full-service salon offering manicures, pedicures, and facials also. So if you've been searching for a salon to call your own, come and see us at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located at 48 South Magnolia Avenue in downtown Ocala, right next to the Marion Theater. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358. Hello, gorgeous.
Experience Christmas at Gaylord Palms, November 15th through January 4th with Ice, featuring the Nutcracker. Relive your favorite scenes from the classic ballet, hand-carved in more than 2 million pounds of ice sculptures and slides. Enjoy a special bonus area, the Frostbite Factory, and watch artisans from Harbin, China carve amazing ice sculptures before your eyes. Your awe-inspiring experience concludes with the wonder of the Nativity in Ice. For tickets and packages, visit christmas@gaylordpalms.com.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services. When your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements, from damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
1370 WOCA.
Glenn Beck program returns.
Buck Sexton here in for Glenn Beck. I'm going to be continuing on for the next couple of hours after the show here ends at noon. From noon to 2, I'll be on the Blaze Radio Network, where I am every day from noon to 2 Eastern Time. So you can just go to theblaze.com/radio or go on iHeartRadio. You can listen live there on that app, theblaze.com/radio, or on the Blaze app. Just press the radio button. or on theblaze.com. You can listen that way. I'd love for you to join what we affectionately refer to as Team Buck, which is just everybody who's part of the show, who listens in, who calls in, and all the rest of it. So join me in the Freedom Hut at noon. It would be great to have you on the team. I told you we had that moment where we're discussing a real way to look at what's happened in Ferguson and a way to bring people into a discussion that's actually going to be helpful and hopeful. And there's also not just discussion that seems to indicate that people are willing to do that, but also action. And action is necessary for good things to happen, for goodness to win, for the good guys to win over the bad guys. We need to take action. And one example, I think, of this, one that we should at least highlight for a moment, is in the case of the Missouri, or the Ferguson bakery, rather, known as Natalie's Cakes and More. It was opened in June, a block away from the Ferguson Police Department, and after the grand jury decision, Natalie DuBose's bakery was vandalized, destroyed. Her windows were smashed, and her equipment was damaged. She set up an account online at GoFundMe.com and hoped to raise $20,000 so that she could keep her operations going through the holidays, because, of course, bakeries, this is a critical time of the year for her and all of her employees. And DuBose set up this account. She wanted $20,000. She was hoping for $20,000. And due to the kindness of strangers, she had received, as of last night, $226,757. More than enough to replace the windows and the equipment. Enough, perhaps, to help Natalie buy some presents for her family and maybe give a little Christmas bonus to her workers. I think this is the kind of thing that at least can give us all a sense that there are things that we can do and things that we should do to make this better, to actually be constructive in the process and to be helpful. So we see the best of what's possible, I think, from our fellow Americans in this case of DuBose. That's not to say that we're not going to have some stormy hours and days ahead as these protests continue in different places and the incitement continues from the media sort of feeding this self-righteousness among the protesters. But don't let that cloud out. Don't let those voices shout down the voices of people like Natalie DuBose or Benjamin Watson of the Saints, people who are actually trying to light a candle here and not just curse the darkness. I think that that's, if anything, a lesson that we could take going into the weekend that would certainly be helpful for us all and should spur us to, whenever possible, act in a way that makes this situation better. Let's take a call if we can quickly here. We have Joel in Texas. Joel, this is a Glenn Beck program. You're speaking to Buck.
Yes, good morning, Buck. Yes, we've heard of Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin. The media makes sure that we don't forget those names. Nobody has heard of Dylan Taylor.
You mean out in Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake City.
Yes, sir. I've heard of Dylan Taylor, but keep going.
Well, Dylan Taylor, 2 days after Ferguson was killed, shot and killed, he was an unarmed 20-year-old white man killed by a black cop. And, you know, I'm surprised that Holder didn't show up, Sharpton didn't show up, Obama didn't go on TV and say he would have looked like his son if he had had a white boy, you know. It's been completely ignored by all the media and everybody else. And there's been no looting, no rioting, or nothing.
Well, I think the point that you're getting at here, and I thank you for calling in, Joel, the point that Joel seems to be making, to me, is that there's no immediate assumption that because a black police officer shoots a white teenager who was also unarmed, by the way, and was even under more dubious circumstances from what the facts were as I read them, and I covered this on the Buck Sexton show when it happened, that there's no jump to conclusions about the intent of the officer. There's an investigation, the facts come out, and they will have accountability based upon that investigation, or at least that's what's supposed to happen. But nobody assumes that there's some sort of racial animus. They don't open some civil rights investigation based out of D.C. for political reasons. No, of course not. And it's a very dangerous thing when we start to make assumptions about our fellow Americans, or our government starts to make assumptions about us based upon race. That should never happen. I thank you all very much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure filling in for Glenn Beck. This is Buck Sexton. I'm going to be continuing on for the next 2 hours on theblaze.com/radio on The Buck Sexton Show. I would ask that you please go to facebook.com/Buck Sexton. Shields high, everybody.
The Glenn Beck Program.
The Blaze Radio Network.
As the U.S. struggles to contain Ebola, there is a growing concern this deadly disease will become a global pandemic. Now the World Bank is even warning the economic cost of Ebola could exceed $32 billion by the end of next year. When our economy is threatened by a global catastrophe, shouldn't you consider owning a recognized safe haven asset such as gold? The only gold company I trust is Goldline, and you can call them and learn how easy it is to add physical gold to your portfolio or IRA. Ask them for the free investor's kit and have confidence in knowing that you're going to be working with a company that's been helping people for over 50 years. Call Goldline today and receive your free investor's kit at 1-866-GOLDLINE. Ask them about the different payment options and read their important risk information and find out if buying gold is right for you. They'll also include your free copy of the latest Precious Metals Insider, which is full of useful information about gold and silver markets, as well as a special medal personally designed by me. At Goldline, credit card orders receive the same price as cash, and shipping is always free, so don't wait. Call 866-465-3546. Call Goldline today at 866 Goldline.
Shave Secret, for the best shave ever. Shave Secret is a blend of natural oils that replaces shave creams, gels, and powders for men and women of all ethnic backgrounds. Shave Secret is an all-natural product, nothing artificial. Shave Secret helps prevent nicks, cuts, shave bumps, ingrown hairs, rashes, and more. Shave Secret is clear, non-foaming, so you can see clearly what you're shaving. Shave Secret is economical to use. Take 3 to 5 drops for the average shave. Shave Secret cleans, conditions, and moisturizes the skin all in one application. Shave Secret is compact and great for travel. Ladies, Shave Secret is wonderful for shaving your legs, underarms, and bikini lines. Guys, got a bald head? Shave it. Take the Shave Secret Challenge and try it for 7 days. If you don't like it, we'll refund your money 100%. Buy Shave Secret today at Walmart Supercenters and online at shavesecret.com. Buy Shave Secret online today and receive a free copy of the Constitution of the United States. Shave Secret, the best shave.
News Talk 1370 WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Many consumers are kicking off the holiday season looking for bargains like this shopper in New York.
Christmas decorations, Christmas table linen.
She scored big at Macy's in Herald Square, where more than 15,000 people showed up last night during the store's Thanksgiving shopping hours.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Pope Francis now in Turkey condemning what he calls the barbaric violence in nearby Syria and Iraq.
And speaking at the start of a 3-day visit to this predominantly Muslim country, he called on Muslim leaders to condemn the uprising. He also said there should be more dialogue between different faiths and a focus on fighting hunger and poverty.
Fox Radio's Simon Owen. On Wall Street, the market's in an abbreviated session and a holding pattern for many investors. The Dow Jones Industrials rose a half point, the Nasdaq rose 4, and the S&P slipped 5. Fox News. We report, you decide.
It's Secret Santa time, and you drew Carl. He loves kitten videos, talking about kittens, and drives a tiny car that looks like one. Carl needs to man up, so get him a quality 7-piece Evercraft combination wrench set at Napa for only $9.99. $9.99 for wrenches to take those ridiculous kitten ears off his car. Hopefully. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 12/31/14.
Honey, I had a premonition about Black Friday.
Let me guess. Long lines and tons of people.
Nope. I saw great deals at Staples.
Were you on Staples.com when you had this vision?
I don't recall, but it was clear as day. Blowout prices on laptops and headphones. You got me a tablet.
Did I?
Yeah, we were in, out, and home in time to have breakfast in bed.
You saw all that.
You made omelets.
Omelets.
Have a stress-free Black Friday at Staples. Go to staples.com for deals and coupons good on the hottest tech gifts all week long. Less stress, more savings. Staples.
Thank you for listening to the Voice of Ocala. Thank you for tuning in on this Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. This is a special Ask the Cops from earlier this year, followed by a replay of this week's restaurant and food show, and also a replay of this week's Southern Pigskin Tonight, right here on WOCA, The Source. Welcome to a Friday edition of the Voice of Ocala, as I'm trying to, sound radio-like on the radio today.
Radio-ish.
Radio-ish. That is the voice of Chief of Police of the Ocala Police Department, Greg Graham. Nicely clean-shaven. I thought it's Movember. I thought that you're supposed to grow a beard for Men's Health Awareness Month.
Yeah, well, I don't know that. I'm not sure how well of a beard I can grow, so we'll see. But if I grow one, then I got to let everybody else grow one, and I'm not going to do that.
Well,